Don't say it like that. Hey, good morning. It is 5:45. I'm Danny Bonaduce. This is KZOK. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Scrumptious. How are you?
You're scrumptious? I'm delicious. I am delectable.
I was trying to come up with a different way.
What
to
flavor
say
are
things.
you?
I'm yummy.
Yeah, yummy right there, kids. Anybody in there doing all right?
I'm doing yummylicious.
I will accept that. The judges say okay.
Solid effort.
Now, are you not answering nice guy questions there, Derek?
Derek's mic is having.
Check, 1, 2. Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Awesome. I'm on the radio.
Who's that guy in there with you? Is that your high school bong friend?
He
Look at
looks
him
like it,
in his-
doesn't he?
In his hat and his hat and his hoodie. There's no way that man has a job. What's he doing here? Who are you?
He might have gotten less sleep than you, Danny.
Nobody gets less. Whatever he says, subtract a minute.
He's scrumptiddlyicious.
Come on. How's the world in the engineer department?
It could be better.
It could. Something broke here and you're fixing it?
Yeah.
It sounds like it works. I mean, wouldn't it be stupid if we were just hearing ourselves in our headphones and no one else could hear us? We're all doing a little radio show here.
That would be stupid.
Well,
I don't know that it's not happening right now, but it would be stupid.
Well, thank you very much for coming in early and working on this stuff. You asked me when I first came in how was Cirque du Soleil, and I said bitchin', although I've been to several, as an invited guest since I've been on the radio for 30 years, and that's what happens. They come to town. And the very first Cirque du Soleil was put up by the Santa Monica Pier, I think in the 80s, and nobody had like the kind of communication we have now. I realized it was the 80s. We have phones and TVs and whatever, but nobody knew what the giant tent by the Santa Monica Pier was for the longest time. And then I got to see that, and it was amazing. This one's different in the sense that it is condensed. It's right there on a stage, right? You could,
Yeah.
and it was actually a concern a couple of times, not only that you could reach out and touch acts that are balancing on one finger on top of a guy's head on a unicycle, and I didn't make that up. There's an actual act by a guy, the only guy I thought I didn't like. In the whole show, there's like 20 people on stage just flipping out, what drugs did you take to make you think I could do that?
It's amazing.
It's crazy.
Why didn't you like this guy?
Because he looked just like Steve Martin and was doing, they're not talking, they don't talk a lot in these shows. What they talk in a real or imagined French accent. There's a lot of, that's it, whole thing. Somebody will do something, they do a little comedy thing and they could work on that. But somebody will then go, what's that? Weird, just like, I don't know if
It's
they.
very
all
Mr.
of them?
Beanish.
And it's freaky and they feel this need to be like deep and weird. The whole thing, I think, is the story of a boy with green hair.
Okay.
And learning to ride a bike. I don't know. Shut up.
I've never
Flip
seen
around some more.
Cirque du Soleil, so this is total Greek to me, or French to me.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it's very cool. The acrobatics and the music. It's a really great show.
Okay.
But it is a little.
Yeah, of course you
weird.
haven't seen it. You're working those 60 hours a week. Did I get mail about you? I forgot to bring it in. I brought in one. Oh, it's funny anyway. But anyway, you should go. It's
Okay.
It's awesome. So the one guy that was doing the Steve Martin impersonation, because he looks just like him, and I think it's an affliction. Here's what I do. I'm not talking much, so I'm going to make faces and body movements that are King Tut, like Steve Martin's hit song. He's going to move like King Tut a bit. And so I didn't like him. I said, somebody else got such talent. You're doing an impression of Steve Martin who's not even that relevant right now. And then his turn came. And he's big. He's the only big guy. By the way, this made me very happy. I could fight the whole show and probably win.
Yeah, they're not.
They're this big, man.
They're not
little
very
tiny,
big.
little
Acrobats
tiny
kinda
people.
have to
Oh
be.
my God! This one little boy or girl, I don't know. She was dressed up. I can never tell. And he goes, "Look how tiny that person is." I go, "No, I know. They're going to fit themselves into a box in about
Right.
5 minutes," and then they did. So anyway, because I want to get to something. The big guy, the only big guy, ripped up. Everybody has ripped up muscles, and they do hero poses. Like after they're done flipping, they go ta-da with their. It's pretty awesome.
And he's the Steve Martin, or this is a separate guy?
No, all of them. He's a Steve Martin, but all of them do the ta-da
Yeah,
and have just hero bodies. But anyway, so he can do everything. Like he may be the best guy in it. He did a thing with a unicycle, and when he brought it out, I went, "No, you're stealing my job, you bastard!"
Right.
And then people started climbing on him, and I went, "Oh my God, that's got to be hard." And then as they're jumping off, another one literally goes up and does a one-hand press off his head
Ooh.
while he rides a unicycle.
Wow.
And I said, "How do you practice that?" Because he's high in the air. So anyway, I found this guy amazing. Now let me ask you something. Remember the other day? I guess it was Monday. I told you I put a Craigslist ad.
Yeah, for guitar, mature guitar.
Mature guitar.
teacher.
Well, that kind of bit me in the ass. Almost literally. If I would have invited that man over to my house, he would have bit me in the ass.
Yeah.
So It says, here was the ad. I'd like a mature guitar teacher. Now, what I meant by that was I'd like to get a guy in the ballpark of my age.
Sure, yeah.
You know, I had this really great guitar teacher, Jake, 25 years old, didn't know this radio station.
That's crazy.
Nope. You know what? I think it's too weird. How do you teach me music that I want to learn? But he can learn anything in 2 seconds. I'd go, hey, I'm learning Leonard Skinner's Give Me 3 Steps. He goes, how's that go? And he'd look up in the sky and then play it totally.
Wow.
Yeah, it was amazing, but we had very little to relate to. So I went on a mature guitar teacher. Got a couple offers. One, swear to God, said this. I am a mature teacher. Are you a good boy?
Oh.
Yeah, that guy wants to do stuff, like near my bathing suit area, is what I think. So I got a couple. I should have brought him in, but I did bring in this one. And this is from, do you want to use his first or last name? Because I don't have his permission probably to use his name.
I wouldn't. I just call him Steve.
No, his name's John. There's a million Johns.
First name's fine.
Yeah, I was married to a John once. But his last name's Nugent, like Ted Nugent. That's kind of cool. I might want to say that. All right, but anyway.
Maybe leave that out.
Yeah, I will. That's terrible. Anyway, so it says...
Certainly don't say John Nugent again.
No, because the first thing you think when you
wrong
see
with you
Nugent,
people?
Nugent's going to be my guitar teacher? How awesome is that? So anyway, he sends this email and says, hi, Amy and Danny. Not only does he dress my wife, and dresses her first. I already like this guy.
Yeah.
If he doesn't say anything pervy and weird, I'll be super happy.
What are the chances of that?
Well, hang on. This is the best I got. If you're out there listening, I appreciate it. Because I think he's a listener. Listen, hey, hi, Amy and Danny. I am not a mature gentleman. I didn't ask for a gentleman. Don't get creepy on me already, Nugent. But I am one of the oldest millennials. I remember using microfiche. It means
Microfiche.
nothing to me, man. Is that how you catch a really small fish?
Yeah,
Is that what you use as bait? I remember
Microfiche
using
is the
micro.
stuff from the library that you put into the machine to look at old newspapers. Articles, yeah.
Right. He remembers using microfiche, payphones, and Rolodex. References I have made on this very show.
There's no way he's a millennial then.
I'm 35. And
Wow.
I've been playing guitar for 15 years. I also played drums, trombone. I used to play violin until I was 6.
Show off.
Well, no kidding, Mr. Show Off Face. Congrats. Oh, and what I want to do is get a guitar, get a set list because I want to learn to play and sing places. So I want to learn 10 songs really, 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 really well. And then I'm going to go play songs with my brother. It'll be fun.
Right.
So he said, okay, congrats on taking up the guitar based on what you said this morning. Oh, so you are a listener, pitching. I have put together a set list for you.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Without ever knowing me or meeting me or anything. Not bad. I don't know that I always agree. American Pie, Don McLean.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
great.
totally. Sweet Caroline, Neil Diamond.
Yeah.
Yes, huge yes. It's like the guy knows me. Danny's song, by the way, kind of a no. And it's named Danny's song.
Really?
But it's another one. Even though you ain't got money, I want to roll you in honey.
Is that it? I like that
Isn't
song.
that Danny's song?
I don't think that's the name of that song.
Yeah, that's Loggins and Messina.
Yeah.
That's the name of that is Danny's song?
Yeah, it doesn't reference Danny anywhere, I
No.
don't think.
It's a great song.
It's a great song, but it does it sound like me?
No.
It did just now when you sang
though
it.
you ain't got money.
Well, not when you do it that way. When
I
you did
want
it
to mug
before.
your dad for some money.
I'm so in love
Yeah.
with you, honey.
So,
and everything bring to love. See, if you do it with a country accent, it would totally be you. Because you want to
Why?
do country. You want to do.
Yeah, play
Do
the
you hear
cowboy
songs?
bars.
Yeah.
I do want to play cowboy bars.
Right.
So much cowboy bars that I'm behind chicken wire and they're
Yeah.
throwing bottles at me. And unlike the movies where they just keep playing, I stop and I take my guitar out and I threaten their lives. How bitchin' would that be?
So cool.
The cops come, the news is there. What happened? The guy from the Partridge Family was here and he flipped out. Oh, I've heard he does that. Let's see, Danny's song. Green Day, Good Riddance.
That's
I'm
a
gonna-
slow song.
I don't even remember how it goes. How does that one go?
I hope you had the time.
Oh, I
of
love
your
that.
life.
Yeah. Okay,
it's a good one.
I'll do that. Brown Eyed Girl, I can already play that one. Thank you.
Nice.
Down on the Corner, CCR, I
Great.
can already play that one. Obla di, Obla da. Amy almost threw your email out with that one.
Really?
'Cause
Only
of the
Beatles song
terrible
she
songs.
hates.
Yeah.
Obla di, Obla da. They say it's your birthday, close second. But Obla di, like, do some work, Paul and John. Write something. Obla di, Obla da. I didn't have words here. Just seems silly. So you're not quite fired yet. Let's see how it goes. So anyway, it keeps going. Maxwell Silverhammer, the Beatles, Blackbird, I can't see me doing Blackbird. Big Hard Sun.
This is a long set. You're going to have to take an intermission.
Yeah,
Right,
American
well,
Pie
I'm gonna
is like
take
14 minutes.
I'm going to take an intermission to get off the chicken wire stage and fight it out with some redneck. Are you kidding me? I'll just jump to the other. Old Man Neil Young, very nice. Some Pearl Jam, Last Kiss. Johnny Cash, I Walk the Line. I can already play that.
Yeah.
So here's the only problem with this guy, because I love this guy.
Yeah, what's the
Who
problem?
we'll keep anonymous and just call him John. Here's the problem.
Nugent.
And you guys know the problem already.
What's that?
Did he anywhere in this say he's a guitar teacher?
He said he plays guitar.
I drive a car. Don't let me come to your house and teach your kids.
True.
Yeah, so because of
Nothing
other
in there
ones
says that he's a teacher.
to teach them to me. He says, "Here, I thought about you.
Oh,
This would be good for you.
He just gave you a set
I
list.
love listening to your show and have a good life. Hey, congratulations on playing guitar." He at no point said, "Oh man, I not only am I your guitar teacher, I speak Japanese." Oh wait, that's a different commercial.
News is brought to you by Les Schwab. Several fire crews were battling a 2-alarm commercial fire at a strip mall in Kirkland this morning. At about 3 a.m., firefighters received calls from people reporting flames at the Rose Hill Village, the intersection of 85th and 128th. Firefighters said that the fire appeared to have started at the Yuppie Pawn Shop and a dry cleaner. The flames spread from there, have affected 12 businesses. At the moment, no injuries reported, but it is still unclear what caused the fire.
I'm slightly sad. Well, I guess I'm sad for the guy either way. But I don't love the name Yuppie Pawn Shop. It seems counterintuitive or whatever. But when something bad happens to a pawn shop, you know there was something in there you just had to have. And now you don't have it.
You needed 6 more guitars.
There's something in there, a coin where the Roman emperor looks a lot like you. Oh, I need that.
When it comes to Christmas trees, a lot of people like to go out and cut down their
Yeah.
own.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm against that, by the way.
Really? Oh, it's such a fun adventure.
Don't
Something to
trust
do with
either
the
of my
family.
kids with an axe.
Well, Amazon is planning to change that. You can now order a full-size Christmas tree on Amazon.
Well, you don't have to be, I'm just making up words here. You don't have to be a Prime person or.
No, I'd imagine if you're not Prime, the shipping will be a little more expensive.
What
but
is the.
to send you a full-size tree.
Why are they hitting it that it's full size? Why
In
is
the-
that important?
In the past, they've done shorter than 3 feet.
Yeah,
So
you
the-
don't normally get like a 6 or 7 foot Amazon box on your porch.
Yep.
You don't? I
No.
get so many boxes on my porch. If I stacked them up, they'd be 6 feet. And
Sure.
none of them are
Stack 'em
ever
all
for
together.
me. I don't even know why I look.
But how
Is that her name?
Yeah. You don't say it right.
we're talking
I was
a-
saying it in Italian though.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
we're talking about a 7-foot box that they're going to have to come
That's
up
a
with.
big box.
That's crazy and stupid.
Well,
How do you know like that's the perfect tree? That's the
Exactly.
whole point. You got to find the perfect tree. That's the one.
how do you know it's not lopsided? How do you know that
Right.
it's lush or sparse, whichever one you prefer?
Well, I mean, how often do you get things that are screwed up enough that you can't use them after return them from Amazon? My relationship with them is pretty positive. To be
Right,
honest
but those are things that are manufactured to be exactly the same. You kind of know what you're getting. Not
Don't
this
we
is
get
a tree.
food?
It
Don't we
grows
get
in nature.
food from them?
I don't know. Do you get food from them?
Yeah. And
Okay.
that's
that's a different service of Amazon.
But it's all what I'm saying is I think they have a history of delivering the goods.
So all the trees will be perfect trees. But I don't know, something about going and finding a Christmas tree. It's like that's the one for my living
Yeah.
room.
I
It's very
would-
personal.
I would and maybe have done that. I'm not positive. I cut down some trees in the snow once. Maybe I was just being an ass. So I get it, and I've been to the Christmas tree lot.
Yeah.
Sure.
I was gonna say 100 times, but it's actually once a year. You'd be stupid to say
That'd be
that.
weird.
But
One Christmas I went like 27
well,
times.
you do. You go more than one. No, you don't. You don't go. Nope, this isn't the lot for me, unless you're getting a tree on Christmas Eve and they've got one tree left.
Sure.
But it's I'm okay because I don't want a tree of any kind. They're
to
messy.
clean up,
They're
yeah.
fire danger.
Well, I think Palzo is right that even if you don't go to the field where they're growing, you go to the lot and you pick the one that's right for
Right.
you. This is just going to show up at your house. You'll have to trust that Douglas fir or Norfolk Island pine is beautiful. It'll be bound and shipped without water in a regular type of box. They said it will be shipped within 10 days of being cut down and will survive the shipping just fine.
Great. What about actual Christmas Day? That's a lot of
Yeah,
time.
no water for 10 days is crazy.
Yeah.
Seems crazy.
You couldn't go 10 days without water.
I couldn't. No.
I could. I don't think anybody can. I think it's like 3 to 5 days you die.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can go weeks without food. That's a
No
big
water.
one. But turns out now you got to have the water.
Right.
A pretty crazy, sad story making news this morning. In Oregon, a woman was reported missing after going hiking. As she was out hiking in the Mount Hood National Forest and on August 29th disappeared. And they now have found her remains
No.
and believe she was killed by a cougar.
Ooh.
Really?
I don't know why it's worse to die by cougar, but it seems worse to
It
die by
does.
To
cougar.
die by cougar than what?
I don't know, a person or maybe
way
even
worse.
other
No, you're
animal.
right.
Yeah.
It eats you
Right.
and it
Yeah.
growls and it scares you. And I'm guessing you don't die right away.
Nope.
I'm guessing you fight for a while as it chomps down on organs.
Yeah.
Ew. Thanks for bringing this up, Paul.
She was found along the Hunchback Trail in the Mount Hood National Forest. This would be the first time in Oregon history that a human was attacked by a cougar in the wild.
Wow.
There was a cougar attack captivity situation, but no, in the wild. Like we had one pretty recently here in Washington.
Yeah, that surprises me
Yeah.
that Oregon doesn't have them. I mean, not all the time, but more often than just once ever.
Yeah. Another sad story making news, a pretty shocking story circulating. Elizabeth Smart, you remember her, the
Sure.
poor 14-year-old girl who was kidnapped, held captive for 9 months.
Is that how old she was when they grabbed her?
Yeah,
A couple of people grabbed her, right?
2 people. She is now 30, and Elizabeth Smart, she was kidnapped. The woman who helped to kidnap her is going to be released from jail after the Utah Parole Board decided she had served her time. Now
How is that possible?
she was supposed to serve another 5 years.
How is she not serving life? I'll bet the other guy's serving life.
The other guy's serving life. He did terrible things to her, whereas
Just though hey, it's in the middle of the night, you're in your underwear, and you're going to climb out this window with me or I'm going to knife you in the throat. That's a quote
Yeah.
from this crazy bastard who looks like a Manson on roids, just a
Totally.
lion's
Yeah.
mane of hair and beard and stuff. After that, it's life. That's it. That's what you get right
Should
then
be.
and there.
yeah. Well, she had been sentenced, and according to the state parole board, they miscalculated her term. You know, when you are convicted of a crime, oftentimes they will say, okay, well, you've already been in jail for 4 years.
Sure, time served.
So we're going to count that, right? Because you've been behind bars for 4 years. So if you get a 6-year sentence, a 10-year sentence, you've only got to serve 6 more.
I got 72 hours in jail one time, is what the judge sentenced me to, and I thought I didn't have a lawyer, I didn't have any money. This just sucked. And then he went time served. I was in jail 8 hours raising bail. And that's it. That's all he made me serve was those 8 hours.
That's good.
Yeah. I should be a lawyer, man.
You should be. I've often thought that about
I looked
you.
at the judge and I said, please, you try doing a better close than that.
Well, Elizabeth Smart says that she is shocked by this decision, and her team is looking into seeing if there's anything they can do. This woman is 72 years old, will be leaving prison next week.
There's no way this woman's still not dangerous. That guy was a babbling freak about God and serpents and scary. He took this poor young girl to a lean-to type encampment, sexually assaulted her dozens and dozens and dozens of times, apparently. And if these guys burn, I'm good. But I'm not good if she gets out of jail. That's awful.
A lot of focus on Hurricane Florence.
Yeah.
It is expected to pound the East Coast. FEMA is on alert. Flights have been canceled. Evacuations are underway. This morning, taking a look at the images out of North and South Carolina, it's a beautiful day.
Yeah.
They just know what's next. And
They were saying this could be the most expensive hurricane ever.
Yep.
And I thought, well, they're wrong, because I always think that. Katrina, by far. And I was right, except they meant this is going to happen. And I thought they misquoted the number, too. It didn't seem like a real number. They said this could cost over $100 billion. Well, you mean million.
Yeah.
100 million. You don't mean 100 billion. Nobody's got 100 billion. 100 billion.
yeah, and what's scary is we're finding out now that $10 million has been reallocated from FEMA to ICE. And so FEMA is going to be having some financial issues that this timing isn't really super.
Right.
I've got more to talk about with that, but let's deliver some good news first.
Text that word right now to 200-200 for your chance to be headed to Vegas, baby. More
Vegas,
chances.
much
win throughout the
better
day.
than going to the East Coast.
Absolutely, yeah.
So we're talking about all the drama, all of the rain, all of the flooding, the possibilities. Well, now another threat is looming: manure lagoons.
No, not
No.
manure lagoons.
Manure lagoon.
manure lagoons.
Manure lagoons.
Just about as pleasant as it sounds. Vast open-air ponds of manure. Now, North Carolina has a long history of hog farming.
Sure.
And in the past, hog farms have flooded, and it is not good. They are very concerned about overflow, the collapse amidst these heavy rains that could send vast amounts of manure from the thousands of pig farms, hog farms, into the rivers and contaminating groundwater.
Well, that's bad. Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah. Okay. We're all. That's the official thing from our Snap reporter. Ew.
Oh, gosh. So if it wasn't already expected to be bad enough,
Yeah,
now.
rivers of poop makes it worse.
Yep.
Isn't that one of the plagues from Moses?
Rivers of poop.
Let my people go. There's
I
going to be
think
rivers
so.
of poop.
Yeah.
There is a new study out that has some concerning information about benzodiazepine.
Yeah. I used to take handfuls of that.
Turns
Is
out,
that Xanax?
It's a bunch of things, but Xanax is probably what they're talking about.
Danny, you are not alone.
Yeah. Oh no. Once I found out how bad they were, I kept seeing news stories about people on benzos.
They now believe that 1 in 4 older adults are addicted that have a prescription for this become addicted. So not 1 in 4 adults, because that's crazy. But if you were given a prescription for Xanax or a benzo, 1 in 4 of those becomes addicted.
What if you're the same guy 1 in 4 that get addicted? That's 1 in 6 that has herpes. You cannot catch a break, man.
They say benzodiazepines also raise the risk for car crashes, falls, broken hips, and other side effects. They said it is the elderly, it's older people who become addicted because they're more likely to have been given a prescription for this.
Yeah, when I was taking so many of them that it became physically dangerous, I had no idea. I had a prescription.
Yep.
I'd had the same prescription for years, and when I would move, because I move a lot, I'd go to the first doctor that I wanted to go see, and I'd say, by the way, I need 40 milligrams of benzos a day or whatever it was. And they just go, okay. There wasn't even a thought about giving me. And I'm like kind of a notorious drug addict.
Yeah.
And they would never say, well, do you feel okay? Do you need these? Do you sleep well? Whatever it was. They'd go, oh, fine, no problem. This is a no problem kind of drug. Next thing I know, I'm like the sickest I've ever been because I wanted to quit them.
Well, let's hope that in the wake of studies like this, perhaps it won't be as easy to get those prescriptions.
Didn't save Heath Ledger.
No.
You know, when you find out, at least in combination of other stuff, how many people died of the things I used to take, like candy, because I did not consider them drugs. I considered cocaine drugs. And I
Right.
gave that up years and years and years ago.
State police in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, are looking for the driver of a horse and buggy.
Well, they're
who-
going to be busy. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
They are indeed. But this one allegedly fled the scene of a crash in Paradise Township. The victim, named Anna, said she was driving down the road when a horse and buggy ran the stop sign. I saw it and said, oh my goodness, that horse and buggy is not going to slow down. The horse's head hit her windshield, damaging her car.
How's the horse?
Horse, too, I would imagine.
The horse was fine,
Wow.
we think, because it's gone.
Right.
Kept on going.
Fine enough
right,
to
right,
run
right.
off.
Yeah, but think about that guy just the other day, because I thought this was so sad. Got in a shootout and ran off into the woods to die.
Yeah.
Apparently there's a reaction time that you're,
Adrenaline and everything.
Yeah, poor horsey.
So, about that story, the medical examiner now believes that man who robbed the Walmart and ran into the bushes, it turned the gun on himself. But that is how he became deceased. But in this case, we have no reports of any injuries other than the vehicle, and now they're looking for the horse and buggy driver. Now they say
So there was a horse and a buggy. Then there was a guy in kind of grayish clothes with a beard and a hat. I'm sorry, you've identified everyone in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Right.
Danny, you lived in Pennsylvania several times.
Yeah.
Why can't this sounds like a joke. Why can't the Amish have buttons? It's not a joke. It's a legitimate
I don't know.
question.
I absolutely had no idea Amish can't have buttons.
No, why? I was hoping
I
you
don't know.
would
It's
know.
too fancy, I guess. It draws
Maybe
attention.
too fancy or too much work to do on the Sabbath or something. Hey, Derek,
Yeah.
do you know why Amish people can't have buttons?
It does really sound like the setup of a joke.
It does.
I do not.
All right,
Is that the end of that now?
let's see if we can Google that.
I am trying to find an
All
answer
right.
for you right now.
I'm pretty sure it's only hook and eyelet. That's what it's called, right? That they,
Common theme among all Amish clothing is plainness.
Yeah.
Clothing should not call attention to the wearer by cut, color, or any other feature.
oh, so a
So it's
button
too
could,
flashy.
could be adornment.
Could be, huh?
Oh, super weird.
Super weird.
We should work on that as a joke. Why can't the Amish wear
Oh,
buttons?
we'll see if Jelly Bean can put something
Oh,
together.
that's very funny.
Oh, is today Wednesday?
Today's Wednesday, yeah, 7:50.
Awesome.
We'll hear
Oh,
a joke
great.
from her. Maybe it's an Amish button joke.
You never know.
All right, she's got 2 hours to work on
By
it.
the
Come on,
way,
kid.
this is just
Wake up,
awful.
kid.
And all the things we say and do around here and topical, and all, my mind is racing to come up with an Amish button joke before Paul.
Well, Jelly Bean is Paul's daughter, and she could not be more adorable. But there is a girl who might be rivaling her.
Really?
Whoa.
Good.
9
I've been
years
telling
old.
her eventually she's going to be too old and not cute enough to do the joke of the week, and that we're looking for a replacement already.
By the way, just so you know, that's a speech I've been given, literally to my face.
Oh,
Poor kid.
Thank you, dear. That was a nice moan on my behalf.
There's a 9-year-old girl named Kinsley who is making news for a letter she sent to Taco Bell. Now, one of her teachers was trying to encourage her students to know the power of the pen, and she wrote a letter to Taco Bell listing the reasons they should deliver. And her spunk has landed her a speaking gig.
Was number one the I'm way too high to get there myself?
They are flying her to Las Vegas to speak at Taco Bell's convention.
Wow.
Now, she wrote, Dear
You'd think that'd be held south of the border.
Dear Taco Bell, today I really wanted tacos, but my mom wouldn't take me, and I'm only 9, so I cannot drive. You should really start to deliver. What if somebody had surgery and cannot drive? What if you're feeling really lazy, but you really want nacho fries? And plus, this is a great way to make more money. So they loved her letter, love the spunk, and have invited her to the Taco Bell convention.
Well, I think it's kind of a neat story, really.
Yeah.
It's cute, right?
I mean, I could be an ass if I tried, and not even that hard.
I'm really surprised I haven't heard up from you yet.
Well, there's no big downside to this girl. The only drag about this, because I know about this personally, this is her moment. She'll
Yeah.
always be the girl that wrote to Taco Bell, and they flew her mom out and her out. They flew first class, and they stayed in that big fancy hotel. And then they went back to Nebraska, and nothing happened to them. It's a tragic event. I've changed my mind. It's a terrible story. How do you set this
Taco
girl
Bell
up?
should be ashamed of themselves.
How dare you?
Now, you guys probably know, I'm going to guess, how to check a fish for freshness. So if you went to the market and
Yeah.
you saw a whole fish
Yeah.
and you wanted to purchase a whole fish or a part of that fish, do
Yeah.
you know what you're supposed to look for?
I think so.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, what do you got?
Bright eyes.
I got no slime.
Well, no slime
And
is
of course, smell.
probably
Yeah,
true.
they don't want to smell fishy.
But most
Which
of
is
the time,
weird.
It's weird.
most of the time, you are just looking at the fish, and bright eyes.
Oh no, we touch them. We handle the fish.
Yeah, you got to handle the fish.
Bright eyes is the number one thing you're supposed to look
I
for.
had no idea. That's cool.
Bright, clear eyes. So if they're
They're
muddy, or,
dull or hazy.
It's
that
old.
fish is
I
old.
don't
Yeah.
buy a ton of fish at the store, but I certainly don't buy them that have eyeballs.
But that's
I buy
just if you're buying a
fillets.
full whole fish.
Yeah, but I don't though. That's the thing. That's why I didn't know the clear eyes thing. That's
Mm-hmm.
kind of cool. I may buy fish today. You don't know.
Well, take a look very closely because one fish seller has gotten into trouble. He wanted to pass his older fish off as fresh, so he put on plastic googly eyes.
That's pretty great.
That's yeah. I'd buy that fish for that guy.
Her pictures, most people thought it was hilarious, but big old googly eyes.
He gives them like a little tongue sticking out of their mouth.
By the way,
Make it fun.
if you need any of that, it's at my house.
You have a
have
lot of googly eyes.
Tons of googly eyes and funny
Why?
tongues and funny lips. And
Why do you have that stuff?
Because Amy puts them in the geocache thing. You're supposed to put something stupid in. I mean, it's not me saying it's a thing. You know,
Yeah.
little tiny Statue of Liberty, something like that.
Gotcha.
We have googly eyes. She puts them on stuff. She thinks it's the height of comedy, which makes me mad because you're married to me.
Go to
Googly
Pike.
eyes are not the height of comedy.
Go to Pike Place Market and try just putting them on all the fish and see what happens.
All right, I will.
It's time for today's Things Are Not Right in Florida story of the day.
Yay!
A 35-year-old man in Florida playing disc golf in Clearwater. Now, he lost one of his discs in a pond.
Oh, I hope it wasn't the poop pond in North
No.
Carolina. See, I
No.
listen.
That'd be a long throw, though.
Somebody's got a good arm.
Well, remember where we are, right? He's in Florida.
Yeah.
He goes into a pond. What do you think is in a pond in Florida?
Poop, pig poop.
Oh, gators or crocodiles? I'm not sure which one. Actually,
Oh,
both.
a fish riddled with opioids.
Yeah, that too.
An 11-foot alligator.
That's a big alligator.
That's a pretty big alligator.
They're everywhere in Florida. Just let the disc go. No, this guy goes in. Guess what happens?
He gets eaten.
He gets bit. So 11-foot alligators hanging out in the pond. He goes in to retrieve his disc from disc golf. And they said, when the authorities arrived at the scene to put him in the ambulance, they said, dude, they just cost a few bucks. Next time, just go get a new
Yeah.
set.
Go get a new Whammo. You ever played disc golf?
I have not.
Have you?
Yeah,
What'd you think?
that I was terrible at it.
And
And that I wasn't stoned enough to be playing it.
That's what I've never been that high. But there's a court, and they don't tell you a course anyway. Right here, I wish I could remember the name of the park. We were again geocaching when the thing, and there's these weird chain contraptions. It looks
Yeah,
like
that's the
something
whole-
illegal and weird. Yeah, but I'd never seen one.
Oh.
Yeah, they kind of look like this fountain spitting chains. It's really weird. And then I saw the next one. We tried really hard to figure out what it was. Couldn't. And then there's a sign way on the other side of the park. Seems like a stupid game to me.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to investigate because I have never laid eyes on disc
Yeah,
golf.
you should. Well, no, go your whole life. I told you what it looks like. You're fine.
All right. Oh, Florida.
Oh, Florida.
News is brought to you by Les Schwab. We have music news and entertainment and sports right around the corner. Some of the things we'll be talking about. A graphic and pretty crass story about Paul McCartney is shocking people this morning.
Really?
We'll tell you what he said in a recent interview. So this is not rumor. This is out of the horse's mouth. Little bit. No, not a little bit. A lot of surprise here. What game show host surprised his fans this week? We'll talk about that. All the latest sports news and your chance to win Mariners tickets next. In music news,
Yeah.
a story that's got a lot of people talking this morning is about Paul McCartney and John Lennon. Now, Paul McCartney gave an interview, a brand new interview to GQ, and talks about a lot of different adult relations stories.
Yeah.
One of which he says, trying to use some delicate language here. He said, we were over at John's house. It was a group of us. Instead of getting roaring drunk and partying, we all just sat in chairs. The lights were out. Somebody started taking care of Mr. Happy, so we all did. Me and John Lennon just sat there thinking about Bridget Bardot,
Yeah, not a bad choice.
and then everyone took care of Mr. Happy. At one point, John Lennon said, Winston Churchill,
Okay.
which killed the mood.
Yeah.
He said, I think it was a one-off. Maybe it was a two-off. But it wasn't a
something
big thing. It's just the kind of thing you would do in a group. Yes, it's quite raunchy when you think about it, but you kind of look back on things you did as a kid and thought, did we really do that?
Were they kids, though? I mean,
Well, no. They were the Beatles. He said it was good, harmless fun. It didn't hurt anyone, not even Bridget Bardot.
Carpets.
Ew.
So you want my call on that?
Yeah.
I can't give you a complete call because I don't know why that's happening, but I don't believe it.
Oh,
it's
really?
It's an old fable. It's a story. People tell it all the time. It's a
About
game.
the Beatles or
When
just
I was
in
in school, it was
general?
called a spagato contest. And you'd get people over and you'd turn out the lights. Everybody would do that. First one to finish would yell spagato. And you'd turn out the lights. And actually, the house was full of people. It was a trick on you. It was a prank. But I've heard different versions all my life. I don't believe that. Now, why is Paul McCartney lying to me about such weirdness? So now I got to go, I like him so much. He's not.
Yeah.
He's 77. And he's told the story a few times. And now he believes that happened. But it didn't happen. It didn't. There's not a chance in the world that happened.
That sounds like something, because I've heard the different names for it, but
never Winston Churchill, though. That's, I think,
no.
That's
that takes the cake.
Just so you know,
Winston
that's,
Churchill.
that's John Lennon's middle name. Maybe that's why I yelled it. Not
Yeah.
the whole name, but Winston. John Winston Lennon, I
Yeah,
believe.
he yelled Winston Churchill.
I yelled
Weird
Danny
story.
DeVito just to stay.
Kanye West sent out a tweet that got people talking. He said, I will teach a course at the Art Institute of Chicago. and the American Academy of Art. He sent out this tweet Sunday night amid a flurry of tweets about Chicago and its cultural institutions. And a lot of people thought, Kanye teaching at the Art Institute of Chicago. That's pretty cool.
By the way, I'd believe the Winston Churchill story if he was telling it. Of course he did that. Of course Kanye did that.
Well, the Art Institute of Chicago said shenanigans.
Shenanigans, yeah.
They said, we're flattered Mr. West would have an interest in teaching emerging artists and designers at the School of Art Institution of Chicago, but he is not currently teaching, and at this time there are no plans for him to do so. Where is he getting this from?
Well, he's crazy.
Yeah,
That's part of it.
but, you know, I think he's just ahead of himself. I think if he wanted to teach some sort of course there, he could with one phone call.
Oh,
Hey, it's
absolutely.
me, Kanye West. Doesn't he have a line of clothes?
He does.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm a gazillionaire, and I hang out with Donald Trump, and I'll come to your school, and I'll say nice things to your kids. Yeah, he could do that.
He also sent out a tweet recently that got people excited for some random reason, saying that Kim Kardashian was going to law school, which is totally not true.
No night courses?
She doesn't even have a college degree, so going to law school would be a very uphill battle.
Yeah.
Why is he saying these things? I think Paul
Well,
might have hit the nail
I
on the
think
head.
Paul had it. Yeah, he's crazy.
Yeah.
Bizarre. You know, it's not crazy.
What?
Going to the iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Yeah.
It's happening September 21st and 22nd. Some of the biggest names in music all together on one stage for one event. We want to send you to Las Vegas to see the show on us. You are listening for the keyword. You text that to 200-200 for your chance to win a trip for two. Your next chance to text and win, 8:10 this morning.
You know, I've been practicing with my friend Jacob a lot, and I don't think I'm going to be ready to perform.
Who's Jacob?
That's the guy that I used to say was John. I totally had his name wrong. He's a nice guy. He even called again. But I have not had time to perform, so I will not, no matter what you've heard, that I'll be launching my career at the iHeartRadio Music Awards in Las Vegas.
I thought you and Jack White were going to take the stage and have a guitar off.
That guy can't play.
Guitar off.
That's one.
So that's it. You don't want to embarrass him with
Embarrass
your skills?
Jack White, who makes a living at it. It's just my hobby.
Well, it'll be a great show despite the fact that you're not there.
Yes, it will. Well, I will be there. I think. I hope. I'm trying.
Well, I mean,
But
on
I won't
stage.
be playing.
Oh,
Yeah.
next time.
I hear that train a coming. That's what I would be doing.
You can join
Fits.
Fleetwood Mac for that one.
Everybody else
Leonard
is joining
Skinner.
Fleetwood Mac.
Give me 3 steps.
Give me 3 steps. I could do that,
All right.
sort of.
Well, they can do it, so all you have to do is kind of be up there with them.
Well, that's not the point. You got to play a guitar, man.
TV shows tend to, if they're not a summer run, take the summer off and then the new show debuts in the fall. This is also true of game shows like Price is Right, Wheel of Fortune, and Jeopardy. They took off the month of August, and the show returned on Monday, and Alex Trebek shocked fans with his new look.
Uh-oh.
He had a full beard.
Oh, I thought skinhead. Skinhead Canadian with the yellow laces.
That'd be shocking,
Yeah,
yeah.
it would.
He has a
What is
delightfully
skinhead? That's what they say to him.
He has a delightfully full head of hair and a full beard. Now, not crazy like David Letterman. It's a well-trimmed beard.
Right.
But remember, back in the day, Alex Trebek rocked a stash.
Yeah, and then he shaved it off. That was
he-
shocking.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
thought he still had it.
No.
No, he shaved
By
it
the way,
off several years back.
that lovely full head of hair of his, that's a tube.
No.
Really?
Always bald as I can't
No,
think
he's
of it.
not.
It looks great
She's
either
not
way.
falling for it. No, he's not. Damn it. Because I know you care a lot about it. No, he's bald ass. Who the hell's bald?
Mr. Clean. He's
Oh, that's a
bald
great
as
one.
Mr. Clean.
Yeah, that beats Yul Brenner. Less and less people know Yul every day.
Well, some people said he looked good, and Alex Trebek said, well, you don't need to inquire how I spent my summer vacation. Things got a little out of hand, so I think he's going to rock it for a while.
All right, nice. I like it.
There is a brand new ride headed to Six Flags Great Adventure in New Jersey next year. It is the Wonder Woman Lasso of Truth.
Oh, I don't want to go anywhere near this attraction.
Yeah, just don't go with your wife. This new ride will pack 40 riders onto a counterclockwise spinning circle, which will reach speeds up to 75 miles per hour,
Super fast for a ride.
Yeah.
heights of 170 feet or 17
Jeez.
stories. It will be the tallest pendulum-style ride in the world.
Pendulum style?
Yeah.
What's that mean?
Swings back and forth.
thought that it's the one that almost looks like a
boat.
upside down metronome.
One
Yeah,
of my
boat.
it's a boat. Same thing at the Santa Monica Pier. I used to ride with my kid all the time. It's actually one of my favorite rides. You know how on a roller coaster there's a couple of moments where you're weightless?
Yeah.
That's the whole attraction to the pendulum
Right,
type
yeah.
ride. On both ends, you go weightless. It's really a fun feeling.
Yeah, I
we
mean-
got to go to more amusement parks. We never go to amusement parks.
No, we don't.
Remember, because you broke your spine.
Oh, I was so sick when you and I went to an amusement park, and that was many moons ago. That was the last time I went on a ride.
Me too, I
I've-
think.
I felt so sick that I couldn't hold my head up, and then I got whiplash, and then I tried to go on a roller coaster and wanted to die.
The
See,
fair's going on right now. Road trip.
we
No.
did the same thing. I'm going. We did the same thing. It's a reverse roller coaster, if you will. It's already going fast. They launch you like an aircraft carrier launches an airplane. So you go from 0 to 90 in like 2 seconds flat. And they said, put your head back, and somebody didn't listen. Somebody leaned forward, looked at me, and said, "What'd they say?" And boom, 9 miles. Her head stepped back. I went, "I'm going to hear about this in 5 minutes."
I wanted to
Hashtag
defend
dumb
myself.
Sarah.
Yeah, but that was 100% accurate. Don't know if you guys remember this, but it was, I think it was Jean-Luc Picard who got into trouble for eating his pizza with a fork and knife in New York.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
What's the name of the actor?
Oh, Jean-Luc Picard. Okay, I didn't get it. All right. Yeah, Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it was him. He
Martha
was,
Stewart.
no, the first one was right.
Kristen Stewart.
Jimmy Stewart.
Yeah, Jimmy Stewart was there.
He ate pizza with a fork and knife and got destroyed on the internet. Well, that's starting to look downright civilized compared to what actress Cynthia Nixon did over the weekend. Cynthia Nixon, best known for Sex and the City.
Right.
She is now running for governor of New York. She went into a deli, a New York Jewish deli, and ordered cream cheese, lox, all on a bagel, like delicious, red onion, capers, tomato. Very
Delicious.
traditional. That's
Yeah.
what you order at a Jewish deli. It was all in a cinnamon raisin bagel.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
Oh, gross,
But
Becky.
You like what you like.
Yeah,
It is
right.
gross. Fish on a raisin bagel. I like raisin bagels by themselves. I like fish by themselves. Never the twain shall meet, or whatever
No.
twain means. But
Somebody
you know,
suggested locks her up.
there's somebody funnier than us. Did that. But
we're still working on our Amish joke.
Amish buttons.
Amish button joke.
But I'm not gonna just give her a super hard time. I'm gonna give her a super hard time for being an idiot, but not about the bagel. She's an idiot candidate. Doesn't anybody want to be a council person anymore or run for
Yeah.
PTA? You start with governor
Right,
of the
yeah.
most major city in America. I'll just do this. Why? What are your qualifications? I'm B grade celebrity. Hey, ready? Let's go.
Yeah,
But I mean, you could be president.
I
So
would.
why not?
You could.
I wouldn't vote for her based on her bagel choice.
No. Yeah.
That's just, I say communistic, but that's not accurate.
You know,
either.
I don't know if it's changed. There's only one good Jewish type deli, and I think it's out in Bellevue, and it's inside some mall, and it's really, really good. And Amy loves a good deli, but she wouldn't do that to us. First of all, she would not order the cinnamon bagel. That's kind of creepy.
No.
And then it's just toast it and put butter on it. Don't do
Yeah,
anything
right.
weird to it.
I'm with you. It's one of the things that I find lacking. But I found out there is a new one opening called Dingfelder's Delicatessen
Yeah.
in Capitol Hill. So it'll be a lot closer. It's a brand new Jewish deli that I haven't tried yet, but I think it just opened.
Yeah. All right. I'll go.
Yeah, let's go check it out. Let's take a look at sports. Sports brought to you by Bradley Johnson Attorneys. If you're facing a DUI, call 1-800-DUI-AWAY. That's 1-800-DUI-AWAY. Big game tonight, WNBA Finals.
Yeah.
Game 3. The Seattle Storm at the Washington Mystics. Tip-off is at 5.
Trying to win their third championship. They could do it tonight.
I hope
But
so.
it's not a three-peat, is it?
No. They were there. Yeah, no.
Pretty
it's
awesome.
Not three in a
though.
row.
It's a team to be proud of.
Yeah, very cool.
Very much so. They are currently leading the series 2-0. Go Storm!
Go
Go
Storm.
Storm. Is it sexist if I admire their skill and talent first and then go, chicks over 6 feet, man? Is that?
I thought you were going to say, if I admire their skill and talent for a girl.
No,
Like, you play
see,
really
I'd
great
be-
bahave
I'd be stupid. I'm
for
on the
a
radio.
girl.
I
Yeah, that's
might have
very
thought it, but it
sexist.
never got to my mouth.
Yeah, don't say that
I won't.
again, Danny.
Chicks over 6 feet. That's all I'm saying.
Tough one last night for the Seattle Mariners. Will with 1L. Myers lined up an RBI double off the Major League saves leader Edwin
Yeah.
Diaz. 1 out in the 9th inning. led the San Diego Padres to a 2-1 win over the Mariners.
Why do so many people have one L? Is it like a shortage of consonants? You have both L's in your name. We used to have a Will with one L, Willem Dafoe. Turns out Willem Dafoe is not a William. Did you know that?
No, he's a Willem.
Yeah, who knew that?
Well, if you were at last night's Mariners game at Safeco Field, it was a beautiful night at the ballpark. You need to start calling us right now. Tell us a song that played during Mariners KZOK Music Trivia. The first person to correctly tell us wins tickets to an upcoming game. Derek, what will they win?
Tickets for the game on Friday, September 28th at 7:10 p.m. versus the Texas Rangers, which just happens to be Fan Appreciation Night.
Fan Appreciation Night.
Call right now to win, 800-252-1025. We found out today Hisashi Iwakuma, after 7 years with the Seattle Mariners that included an all-star selection, is headed back to his native Japan. He hasn't pitched in the majors so far this year. Shoulder issues. He said he is now trying to get his career back on track, heading back to Japan.
Well, sayonara and good luck. You know, when I was learning to speak Japanese, I just thought that sayonara was fake. Like, you can't really say that to a person. You can't say to a Japanese person, sayonara, because that doesn't really mean goodbye. It's got to mean, that's totally goodbye.
Yeah.
That's fair to say. So sayonara, we'll miss you. I liked him. Yeah.
Last night, the Red Sox beat the Toronto Blue Jays and became the first team to make playoffs. They have
Playoffs.
the best record in baseball, and after last night's win, guaranteed a spot in the postseason. Alex Rodriguez, former Mariner, best known probably for playing for the stupid Yankees. Alex Rodriguez and Mark Wahlberg decided to make things interesting when the Red Sox and Yankees played each other last month, and turns out the Red Sox swept the Yankees. Mark Wahlberg from Boston.
Right, sure.
Yeah.
Big Red Sox fan.
Wicked
Alex
smart.
Rodriguez still considers himself a Yankee, part of the organization. Well, they had a wager. A-Rod lost. He had to go work at Wahlburgers.
Oh, wow.
Oh, nice.
And is it going to be on the TV show?
Yes, of course.
I certainly hope so.
Yeah, it's got to be.
He's
Not a
sent-
great show, by the way. It should be better. That kind of star power.
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg, Donnie Wahlberg from the Boys to Men. No. New Kids on the
New Kids on the
Block.
Block, yeah.
His ugly
Blue
brother that
Bloods.
runs the restaurant. This weird chain smoking, I'm sorry to say white trash mom, but oh my God. I would never let that lady on TV, and they revel in how funny she is. And here's how funny she is. Hey, don't give your brother such a hard time. He's working as hard as he can. That's like, shh, go in the kitchen.
That was good, Dan.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Right in my box. Right
pretty fun.
next to Brenda Vaccaro.
Well, A-Rod did post video to Instagram, talked about it. He said he held up his end of the deal, and he did everything from greeting customers to flipping burgers, clearing tables, and mopping floors.
Wow. It's a nice gimmick. I think that worked. I like both of those guys. And I got to tell you, A-Rod, kind of a role model for shut up and weather the storm. People hated that guy. They'd boo him when he'd show up places. When who'd I fight? Jose Canseco.
Right.
People booed him. Like in Philly, they spit at him. I never said, because I didn't even know who he was. I think I had heard of him. I'd never heard of the Bash Brothers. But people booed him and hated him. Well, that same thing was happening to A-Rod 10 years ago or whatever that was. And you shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame and they should have an asterisk, but while saying vile names. And now he's the prince of the party. You're great. Can you do a publicity stunt at your family restaurant?
And he's become a really good broadcaster, too. He's had a nice turnaround.
Yeah, who saw that coming?
Yeah.
Hey, congratulations to Anna in Olympia. She was at last night's Mariners game. New Mariners KZOK trivia was American Girl by Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
Yeah.
Anna is going to the Jeep winners window in our lobby to pick up tickets to... I totally forget. Derek, what does she win?
Anna won tickets for the game on Friday, September 28th at 7:10 p.m. versus the Texas Rangers, which just happens to be Fan Appreciation Night.
Fan Appreciation Night.
The Mariners celebrate the best fans in baseball at Fan Appreciation Night. All fans take home a team poster, plus there will be prizes, surprises, and more throughout the night. Then you don't want to miss the final fireworks night of the season as we celebrate the best fans in baseball. The Mariners have partnered with Pyro Spectaculars, the same company who produces the New Year's Eve at the Space Needle extravaganza for this big event. Visit mariners.com/fireworks for more information.
Wow.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations to Anna. Now the Mariners play at home today. Padres.
I know it's sad for all of us there, but hold it together for God's sakes.
Against the Padres.
Yeah.
3:40 start time on Root Sports.
It's not that sad.
Your next chance to win tickets will be tomorrow morning right around the same time. Sports brought to you by Bradley Johnson Attorneys.
Nice
If
recovery.
Yeah.
you're facing a DUI, call 1-800-DUI-OA.
All right, coming up at, I don't know, just around 20 minutes or so, at 7:20, we're playing a game. It's called The C Word. I hope by Friday we haven't run out and run smack dab into the inevitable. But the C Word is going to be played here at 7:20. If you win, you get a pair of tickets and food vouchers for Crafts and Cars. That's this Saturday at Evergreen Speedway.
So it is September 12th today. And I don't know about you guys, but when I woke up this morning, the first thing I realized is it's cold.
Feels like
Yeah,
fall.
we were just talking about that, Paul and I. It's very cold. It was very cold.
Totally feels like fall. It's 56 degrees
Ah,
in Seattle.
how dare you?
And it's not officially fall quite yet, right? But it's coming up close, but we're not there yet. We should still have a little bit of summer left.
Oh, we should still have, I didn't, I can't
10
keep track of
days.
these. There's 4 seasons. How am I
days.
supposed to keep track of that?
Right.
The fall equinox happens at September 22nd at 6:54 p.m.
It's a fall equinox.
When we switch to fall, I would assume.
That's when the gods say, "It is now fall."
I never hear that. I must be sleeping.
No, it must mean something.
It means when we switch from
They
summer
use
to
the word
fall.
equinox just to
Yeah.
say we switch. There's no special star alignment or
I'm sure
something you
that's-
can see.
Yeah,
Winter solstice. Right?
spring equinox. Yeah.
Yeah.
Summer solstice. I'm sure it does have something to do with
Okay.
stars. But
He just asked what it meant. I didn't know it would be a hard question.
It means the switching of the season.
All right.
The plane of the Earth's equator passes through the center of the sun.
That's what it means.
He didn't
Thank
even
you,
look
Derek.
that up. Gosh, he's smart.
Yeah.
No, but it was an answer. I was getting creeped out that we have computers and stuff. So thank you, man. I appreciate that.
So the 22nd is when it's officially fall, but today it already feels like it.
Yeah.
And, there's things you look forward to, but there's also things that you're ready to put in the rear view, with summer ending. And for some people, it was the smoke. Like this summer,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, that was awful.
this summer was hot and the smoke was bad.
I usually think that privileged white people like Seattle complain over nothing, but that was terrible, that smoke. That was awful.
Well, I think most of us are ready to put that in the rear view. We can say goodbye to that, but there are plenty of other things, trends. There's stuff that happens in the summertime that a lot of people are just ready to say goodbye to. I'm sure you've got something, Danny.
White shoes. I'm ready to
Oh,
put- I have white shoes. It's my thing lately. And I have white shoes. I am ready to, they're stupid looking. And I am ready to put my white shoes away.
so one of the big trends from the summer that I didn't see a lot here in Seattle, thankfully, but the celebrities were doing it. What were they called? Dad sneakers.
Yeah.
So those big, bulky white sneakers that you
Yeah.
might see on your grandpa. That was a big trend to go along with what you're saying, getting rid of white shoes.
Yeah.
I don't need to see hot chicks wearing big white grandpa
my
shoes.
grandpa has no feet. How dare you? That's the thing we used to do at the elementary school until I graduated in 5th grade.
Well, Danny's ready to say goodbye to white shoes. Summer's almost officially over. What is something you're ready to say goodbye to? Something you're ready to put in the rear view? Call us right now, 800-252-1025, or text in 90627.
Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. I didn't even know they had cops.
Oh, we're talking about summer.
The end of summer. moving
Yeah,
on
end
to
of
fall.
summer.
Yeah, saying, what do you want to say goodbye to?
Yeah, we want to say that officially. And I would, like I said, my white shoes.
Oh,
but
yeah.
there's other stuff. Am I too early to say I'm done with pumpkin spice lattes?
At the very beginning of fall, you're all ready to say
They're-
goodbye to pumpkin spice latte.
Because I'm tired of them saying hello.
Yeah.
If they're going to say hello earlier and earlier every year, and it's going to be the same hassle, and it's still going to cost the same $97 to get one, I am done. Well, I'm not done. I like it, but I would say goodbye to it happily because it inundated me a little bit.
Right. Well, summer almost over. Is there something you are ready to say goodbye to? A trend, the heat, the smoke, something you're happy is over because fall's almost here. Call right now, 800-252-1025, or text in 90627. Now, Danny, you said white shoes.
I did say white shoes.
I almost wore white jeans today and thought technically it's still summer, but it's after Labor Day.
Is that a thing? White just by itself can't be worn?
Oh, white.
Yeah, you can't wear any white after Labor Day.
You can wear a white shirt.
Oh, okay.
See?
I thought no white after Labor Day. That's what they say.
I just forgot what I was wearing and had to look down to see what color shirt I had on.
I have black and white striped shoes, but they count as not white. They're black and
Correct.
white
Right,
shoes. Yeah, okay, okay. You know what I said goodbye to?
What's that?
And Amy and I said goodbye to it before we went on vacation, and it was no small feat to say goodbye to it. Our allegedly portable air conditioner.
Oh.
It's got to be 100 pounds. It doesn't sound that big with two people, but it's only a 2 foot by 2 foot box. There's
Right.
no good way to carry it, and we had to take it down 22 steps or whatever it is to get it to the garage. And it was a big deal. But it was ugly. It's sitting in my house.
Normally, when it's summertime, you don't want summer to be over, but there's
Right.
always something you're looking forward to saying goodbye to. Definitely using the AC or the need to use an AC.
Yeah, I already said goodbye to Donna Summer. So,
We've got some great texts into 90627. Amanda in Packwood says, I'm totally ready to say goodbye to boob sweat.
yeah,
I mean, I don't know that I'm ready to say goodbye to Amanda's boob sweat yet.
yeah, but it's a thing. They chafe because you get sweaty underneath, right? And
Yeah.
in the middle.
In theory,
But you don't have the problem?
You don't have boob sweat.
I don't normally get a problem with boob sweat, but
Oh,
your
that's a big
bra
thing,
would
I think.
also take care of it if you do get under boob sweat.
Well, who's this person, Amanda?
Amanda,
You're
yeah,
not
Amanda
nearly as
Packwood.
fun as Amanda. then.
Amanda's got bigger boobs than me.
That's true. She does. Kelly.
How
in-
do you know?
I know some of our listeners. Kelly in Bremerton, who I also know well. She's so overwatering her lawn and the ridiculously high water bill from trying to keep that lawn
Yeah.
from going brown.
Oh, I bet. I mean, those water bills can be pretty astronomical.
Mowing the lawn too.
Yep.
No, I said goodbye to that when I was 6.
And road construction. I mean, that's the big thing. Is it ramps up during all these big projects they do during the summer, and it's so hard to get around everywhere.
That's true.
They seem like the antithesis of good timing for us folks because they do these projects not only in summer, but on the weekends.
Yeah.
Just because we're not going to work that day doesn't mean we don't need this time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's talk to Jim in Snohomish. Jim, is there something you're looking forward to saying goodbye to now summer's almost over?
My neighbors.
Your
Do
neighbors.
they go away at the end of summer?
Yeah, eventually, because I live on a small lake in Snohomish, and they all think that is their property as much as mine. So I can
Wow.
come home as much as 30 people on my beach.
Whoa.
And do you technically own that beach?
Yeah.
Wow. You should be super obnoxious to them.
Yeah.
Well, thankfully they're leaving. There are a good number of people, especially people who are older, who will do summers
Right.
in Seattle and winters in Arizona.
When I'm thinking of groovy places to live, plus that I could possibly afford on a lake, seems great to
Yeah, it
me.
does.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Let's all go to Chelan.
Fish off your back porch. Oh,
Yeah.
please.
Aaron in Seattle, good morning.
Yes. Hi.
Hey.
Ready to say goodbye to the heat and the obnoxious people like complaining about the heat, and I'm ready to say hi to buck fever.
To what?
Buck.
Oh, hunting season.
Buck
Oh,
fever.
So he's ready to say goodbye to the heat and also those who complain about the heat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Hot
gonna have to
show
say
for
goodbye,
you.
but he's gonna have to say goodbye to himself.
And is buck fever a euphemism for hunting?
I've not heard that before, but
I don't think it is.
I got a little nervous when he first said it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too. I think Aaron's a lunatic. I'm just guessing. But he seems like a very nice lunatic who listens to our show. But
He's
buck fever-
right in a way, though. You get in an elevator and someone's like, oh, it's so hot today.
The
Oh.
buck fever I know means you fail at hunting. I saw it in Deliverance.
Oh, really?
Yeah, John Voight's going to kill this deer, and then he starts freaking out, and he says, you have buck fever.
Oh.
But I shouldn't get all my lingos from Deliverance.
No. I was waiting for you to say the pig one. I'm glad you didn't. Rob in Louisville, something you're ready to say goodbye to?
Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, I'm done maintaining my swimming pool.
Oh, I bet
You have a swimming pool?
Yes, sir.
Like a real one?
Yeah, it's 4 foot by I think 24 foot.
That's a real pool.
That's a
you
real pool.
bastard. Do you have a
Good for
pool,
you,
Paul?
man.
I don't have a pool, but
Do you have
people
your
with
own
some pool. I don't think it's fair to judge Rob and say he can't have a swimming
I
pool.
do
He
have a
can
swimming pool, by the way.
You have a
do?
swimming pool? No,
yeah.
you don't.
Well, it's not my personal swimming pool, but
Oh.
it's attached to my gym.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. There's something about Rob thinking of.
He doesn't strike you as a swimming pool guy.
In my head, Rob, because I actually give Rob some thought. I have him on the road all the time, working hard, doing this.
And
No
when he wants to go
frills.
swimming, he goes down to the creek.
Down to the creek. Exactly. Where you belong, Rob.
You've got Rob with like a kiddie pool in the backyard with all the rusted out car parts.
Yes, of course I do.
Or maybe one of those pickup truck bed pools where you line the
Yeah.
pickup truck bed
All
with
right.
the tarp and then
Yep.
fill it up.
Those are so redneck cool.
Yes, they
oh
are.
my God, you're
Rob's wearing his overalls.
Yeah.
Well, he's got a corn cob pipe looking at his
Why is he
truck
swimming in his
bed.
overalls?
See,
I mean, he is.
You've
but
got
why?
him the Hatfields and McCoys.
Rob, we love you. Thank you for your
Thank you,
call.
Rob.
Jan in Bremerton, what is something you are ready to say goodbye to?
Well, it drives me nuts to see old men with Bermuda shorts and like knee-high socks.
Is that just old men? Because I see it a lot.
Yes.
I like.
Oh, it looks so crazy.
It looks
I'll be glad
crazy.
I'll be glad when it's done.
Well, there's the sandals guys are wearing, not
Yes.
the flip flops or whatever they're called, but the sandals. They cost real money. They're
Yep.
real shoes.
I hate that with socks.
I hate that, but I think you have to wear. So there's so many straps holding those shoes on your feet.
Yeah.
Maybe you have to have them, but it's crazy and unattractive.
Jackie from Yelm had a great text into 90627. Goodbye to the fire ban and hello to the fire pits.
Yeah. Paul, what is something you're ready to say goodbye to?
Oh, goodbye to flies and mosquitoes. In my place, we get bugs, and when this time of year comes around, they all go away. So
Oh, nice.
That's good.
I'm going to say goodbye to Norma Jean, just because I heard Elton John do it. Goodbye, Norma Jean. So I'm ready to put her away.
Tori, what is something you're ready to say goodbye to?
I'm done with the paper straws. I don't like them. I like to bite my straw to designate that it's my drink, and I can't do that with them.
Well, you can't say goodbye to it.
You also can't bite everything you put in your mouth to show that it's yours.
Oh, no.
What do you?
I don't bite everything.
That's not what I've heard, but all right.
Derek, what are you ready to say goodbye to?
All the bicycles on the road. I hope when it gets cold, they jump into a car like a normal person.
I kind of raced it, because I have a bike. I have a couple of nice bikes, but I ain't gotten some kind of race down Queen Avenue this morning at 5 a.m. with a guy on a bike. I beat him, thank you. But yeah, he
Well
can go
done,
away.
man.
That guy can go away.
Oh, my, look at the time.
Look at the time.
Look at the time.
We need to play the C word.
The C word.
You have a chance to win a pair of tickets and food vouchers for crafts and cars on 102.5 KZOK. We are playing a new game sweeping the nation that might get us fired called the C word.
The C word.
You've got a chance to win a pair of tickets and food vouchers for crafts and cars happening this Saturday at the Evergreen Speedway. Enjoy dozens of craft beers from local and regional breweries, a car show, live music, a cornhole tournament with cash prizes, autocross, a kids' fun zone, food vendors, and more. To win, you need to correctly identify the C word from Danny's clue. Pretty easy, right? Let's see if Jamie can get this right.
Hey, Jamie, right off the bat, do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Oh, yeah.
All right. And do you understand the rules to the game?
Yes.
All right, here we go, sir. This C word is a coming together in violent conflict, a lack of harmony, or two things appearing incompatible or ugly when placed close together to each other, like mixing stripes and pretty much any other pattern. It's also the British punk pioneers best known for their hit album London Calling and top 10 song Rock the Casbah. Can you identify the C word?
That C word would be the Clash.
Well,
Yeah.
Clash would do.
Correct. Correct.
Very
Jamie
nicely
and
done, man.
Well done, Jamie.
Auburn.
Who had first
Who
caller?
had first caller?
I had second caller.
Yeah, I had third caller.
Hey, Sarah wins one.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I didn't win. Jamie won.
Hashtag not dumb Sarah for once.
Wow.
Thanks, Jamie.
Thanks, Jamie.
You're going to the Jeep Winners window in our lobby to pick up your tickets to Crafts and Cars Saturday at the Evergreen Speedway. Tickets and info available at evergreenspeedway.com. Another chance for you to win happens tomorrow at 7:20, and in just a few minutes, we will return with the big news of the day.
Yes, it is the big news of the day, and it's brought to you by Goldberg Jones Divorce for Men. Call 1-800-DIVORCE or go online to goldbergjones.com.
Well, we've heard a lot of interesting things recently about Tesla, and more specifically Elon Musk. He raised a lot of eyebrows last week going on a podcast smoking weed, wielding a sword.
He went on smoking weed?
He went onto a podcast.
I thought he recently said that he doesn't smoke weed.
Well, that's certainly not
I think he's a liar.
what it looked like.
One of the things is, what do you mean? What, you watched a podcast? I get very
both.
confused.
So it's
And he was smoking weed on it? It's bad form even if you smoke weed. I would smoke weed. I drink weed or eat edible weeds. I would never go on some public podcast and just do it. Even if I did, I would say, oh, yeah, I do it all the time. It just wouldn't be professional here.
Yeah.
he, as I said, raised a lot of eyebrows by doing this. He was on with Joe Rogan.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm looking at the pictures right now. It's on NBC News, just like us, right? We're on the radio, but we've got cameras everywhere. And
Right,
there he
yeah.
is going, so I think, saying the craziest things.
So apparently when he smokes pot, he loses his accent. That's cool. Smoke more.
I think that would probably be the hardest accent to replicate. South Africa, very, isn't he South African?
South African.
Yeah, he is, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, when he was tweeting out a bunch of crazy stuff about, taking the company private and just other bizarre things.
On 420, he kept
Right,
saying.
exactly,
He referenced
yeah.
420 like
And
three times.
people were asking him if he was high when he sent those tweets out, and he said he wasn't, and that he doesn't. I think he said, "I don't do the weed," is what he said.
That's a guy
I
who
don't-
doesn't smoke
I
pot.
don't do the weed.
I don't do smoke the pot.
Yeah,
Well, some people have been a little concerned about him with that sort
Doing
of
the
beat.
weed.
Yeah, you
Doing
don't
the
want to do
weed.
that. Because the next thing you do, you're doing the coke.
Well, think about if you get super high, then you might not say the smartest things. You might say things that are a little crazy.
yeah.
I
You
won't
might
say
run
any-
a company that makes no money.
Thing because I'll be eating cake. 'Cause I'm not.
Well, as I said, raising a lot of eyebrows following pretty much a chaotic week for Elon Musk. He had a sword, he got high. But now, yesterday, we are finding out, thanks to Elon Musk, the chief executive officer, Tesla will be eliminating color options to streamline production.
Yeah, been done.
Well, they said it's not the smartest move for them. They said they're going to move colors off the table. So say you want a Tesla and you want it in red, you might not be able to get red.
Right. You know who did that?
No.
Henry Ford did that. He said, and I quote, "You can have a Model A in any color you want, as long as it's black."
Yeah, right.
Well, some
He
people...
also said those Nazis aren't really that bad. So you don't really want, you might want to look into Mr. Ford every now and again.
We'll see if this helps because, as y'all know, Tesla's not making any money.
Right. I think it's designed not to make money, though. I think it's a thing. It's a tax thing. It's a
It's a weird
adventure thing.
design.
They're everywhere.
Yeah.
I'll just join his party. I could fall down drunk and hit my head on a Tesla. That's my South African accent.
It's great. I mean, you got the South part.
Yeah,
pretty good.
see?
Well, a company who doesn't lose a lot of money, Apple. Today, Apple will unveil 3 new models, including their biggest iPhone ever. This phone will have a screen that approaches 6.5 inches and a big price tag to match. Some are saying, like as I said, we will find out this afternoon when they do the big unveiling, but some are saying that this larger phone will be about $1,200. And
How many years in a row do they think they can do that? In the very near future, that thing's going to be $4,000 if they keep doing the same. What was it when I got interested? I carry an iPhone when I'm not losing it, or an i5, and I think it was $600
Ooh.
back in whateverville.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now 12. That's double.
Well, they're going to have the regular model, which is only $699, and then there's going to be a model for $749. But then they're going for the luxury category, and that's the one that'll be in the $1,200 price.
I
range.
know people who spend that kind of money on crap. So here's the first thing you're going to need: a big difference in appearance, not just tricks inside, not just buttons and apps that it does. The people that spend $1,200 on something you can get for $600 want everybody to know they spent that kind of money.
Well, and everyone
It needs to
will.
look different. Yeah.
Right. They
Because
need it to look, that's my
it's
point.
bigger.
The only person I've seen get away with that is Corvettes. Like the $200,000 Corvette looks exactly like the $60,000 Corvette.
Oh,
I don't know
yeah.
what they're doing there.
Well, we all love our phones.
Yeah.
And there are always disturbing studies out about how much time we're spending on them. According to recent studies, about a quarter of women in their 30s, a fifth of women in their 40s check their phones 200 times a day.
Yeah.
which equates to about once every 7 minutes.
I don't know if I do that much, but I never actually check my phone. What I want is contained within my phone, but I don't even know my phone number. There's nothing I'm going to, like if it says I have a message, I don't know how to check it. There's nothing that my phone does. My Fitbit app. I want to know how many steps I did every 5 minutes. I want to know how much sleep I got last night, how often I had to get up and pee. All that information's on my phone.
And that's what they mean is looking at something on your phone, and a lot of it is social media, checking Facebook, checking Twitter,
Right.
just looking down at the time because we all use it now in place of a watch. Or
That's true. There's a 12-year-old girl making big news. Her name is Delaney Unger, and pictures of her and the story has surfaced. She was diagnosed with bone cancer 2 years ago, and doctors they were able to create a new knee joint using her reattached backward ankle.
Huh?
Pictures of this are pretty crazy. She had her.
Didn't she need her ankle though?
Yeah, that's what I was. That's the
They put her leg back on backwards.
on purpose.
Yep.
All right.
And then that way they were able to do a rotation plasty that rotated the ankle 180 degrees to create a working knee joint.
Okay, you got to put it on backwards and upside down, right? Isn't
And
the ankle at the bottom?
Why? What happened with the ankle still?
Prosthetic.
Prosthetic ankle, even though the surgery was on her knee.
So they took her ankle,
You should get your money back.
put it on her knee, and then gave her a prosthetic. It's crazy.
And then they gave her a surgically attached an ear that was grown on a rat. What? They didn't need to. They were just doing weird stuff to this girl.
That's very bizarre.
Very bizarre.
Bill Cosby back in the news. He and his wife, Camille, want the Pennsylvania judge who oversaw his retrial and sex assault conviction taken off the case before his sentencing in 2 weeks. They released a statement yesterday, what people are describing as a blistering statement, alleging that the Montgomery County judge named Stephen O'Neill is too biased to sentence Bill Cosby the way he should be sentenced.
Right.
He is full of anger and does not like Bill Cosby, says there is bad blood, and
Don't get bad. You know, if I was going to give Bill Cosby any advice at this juncture, don't have bad blood with the judge.
Yeah.
Although I've replaced the judge, I didn't know I could do it. My lawyer said, "Yeah, this is not the right judge for you. You want Judge Lassiter." And they made some sort of weird motion, and one judge was off, and another judge was on, and that guy still hated me.
well, yeah,
Or
that's,
maybe you did what they said you did.
Oh, no, I'm always guilty. You know the guys that stand up and say they didn't do it?
Yeah.
That is not. I did it all, and some of it twice.
They're saying that the bad blood is the judge, and that's why he should be removed. That he's got bad blood with the prosecutor and with a bunch of other defendant and that person and the other person. So they want him kicked off. But most of the time, a judge will not recuse himself. So 2 weeks, Bill Cosby finds out his fate.
It's not the same as recusing. Recusing is Paul comes up in front of me. And I went, well, we used to work together. I can't be the judge.
Yeah, right.
And I recuse myself. Having him kick me off through his lawyer is a motion. Totally different animal than recusing.
Recusing.
Thank you.
Chances are whatever needs to happen is not going to happen, but we will see. This morning, the cast of the 27th season of Dancing with the Stars was announced.
Oh. Any
And-
stars?
How is it never me?
Right.
It's getting.
Because they don't want stars.
It's starting to be like. Thank you. It's starting to be like the star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yeah.
Like, why don't I have one yet? Now, this one might be my fault. When they first started that show, first 3 years in a row, they'd call me up, say, "Oh man, you got to do Dancing with the Stars," and I couldn't because I was just getting into radio. But now I call them and say, "Please," and they say no. In the form of not returning my call, they say no.
There are a lot of people who have similarities to you. For example,
Tread carefully.
Nancy McKeon. You remember her?
Yeah, the similarity is no one knows who she is.
Facts of Life.
Oh, yeah.
She was Jo on the 1980s sitcom The Facts of Life, huge show.
Least hot Facts of Life, if you ask me.
She also appeared on Touched by an Angel and a couple of other shows. The other one who I was saying kind of a similarity to you, just somebody who had a humongous show back in the day, Bo Duke. John Schneider.
Oh, I thought he was in jail.
One of them was, I mean, they're both have been having legal trouble, but one of them worse than the
So
other.
if they don't care about that stuff, that screws up one of my theories that I've done too much bad stuff and they can't have me. They got a current bad guy. I'm a 30-year-old different, haven't done a bad I haven't had a tick in 30 years. What's wrong with you people?
The other Duke brother is the bad one.
Yeah.
This Bo Duke just didn't pay alimony, and that's why he had to go to jail for 3 days. So he doesn't have the money, is what he told the judge.
Yeah, but the judge, you don't put a guy in jail for not having money. He doesn't believe him.
Yeah, so 3 days he went to jail. Somebody, let's see, named Bobby Bones, who has a syndicated radio show.
Yeah, a country show.
Is that yeah, I knew I heard of it.
Works for our company, for iHeart.
DeMarcus Ware, who is the former linebacker for the Cowboys.
And also my coach.
Yeah, from
Battle of the
Battle
Network
of the
Stars.
Network
Oh,
Stars.
that's right.
Or was he the other coach? No, he was my coach. Man, that's a lot of guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Milo
pretty.
Manheim, who is a child actor. He is the youngest. He is now 17 years old.
Oh, wow.
I don't know who this person is. Oh, an alpine skier named Danielle Umstead. Don't know who that person is. Mary Lou Retton.
No, I like her. Want to see an impression?
Yeah.
Now, if you're not watching at home, I'll describe how bitchin' I am.
Okay.
Ready? Say go.
Go. Nailed it.
Nailed it.
10
That's
out of
my
10.
man. Thank you.
Don't know who this person is. Don't know who that one is.
Huh.
She would have said,
Don't know who
she wouldn't have
this
said that
person
about you. See, you should be on there.
I should.
Not all these don't know who these people are.
A person named Alexis Wren. She was a model who was on Maxim.
Sure.
So when I'm saying I don't know who some of these people are, I just
Oh, I believe you.
Yeah,
Half
we
the
all
cast
believe
you don't know.
You have no idea who most of those people are, and I'm with you.
Ivana Lynch, who played Luna in the Harry Potter movies.
Yeah, Marshawn's cousin.
Maybe.
Big news of the day brought to you by Goldberg Jones. Divorce for Men, 1-800-DIVORCE, or online, goldbergjones.com.
No offense to anyone. My favorite part of the show is coming right up. It's Jelly Bean's Joke of the Week.
And now, Jelly Bean's Joke of the Week.
Hey, good morning, Uncle Danny.
Good morning.
Let's do my joke now, okay?
Yeah.
How do you keep an astronaut's baby from crying?
All right, I can tell right away. I do not know this one. How do you keep an astronaut's baby from crying?
You rock it. Ha!
Rocket.
Get it like rocket?
Yeah.
Like rock the baby in a rocket ship? Ha! That was a space joke.
It was a space joke. All right, Paul, tell me if I go too far, okay?
Yeah, okay.
There's Woodstock.
There's Woodstock.
There's Coachella.
Coachella.
But on top of them all is the iHeartRadio Music Festival.
I think you went just the right amount. I think you went too far at all. That's perfect.
In a world where they're bitching. Listen, next weekend, September 21st and 22nd, it's Vegas, baby. It's our iHeartRadio Music Festival. And we'd like you to go. It's some of the biggest names in music, and we'll send you there free of charge, by the way. A hotel, airfare for two, all that stuff. Your next chance to win happens in, I don't know, less than 10 minutes.
Yeah. Earlier in the show, we were talking about Amish folks. And in Pennsylvania, there are a lot of Amish. There are a lot of Mennonites. There are a lot of horse and buggies. They don't drive cars. And seeing a horse and buggy in parts of Pennsylvania is just commonplace. Not Philadelphia, but a lot of different places around Pennsylvania, seeing someone in a horse and buggy, not that unusual.
No, not that unusual.
Should you see a horse and buggy, say, trucking down Mercer, you'd be a little freaked out.
That'd be a weird thing. It wouldn't stop my heart. Where the hell was I this week? Oh, no, I was in Florence, Italy on vacation. Crowded thing, pedestrians everywhere. All of a sudden, horse and carriages started going by. And they don't slow down that much. I guess they're just assuming you'll know to move away from a horse and buggy.
Right. I mean, those are always a little bit tough to see because it's just tourism, and I'm sure those horses are not treated the way we would like them to be treated.
Why you always got to look at the dark side? Maybe they're pets. Maybe they spoon with people at night in their Italian beds.
Well, the Amish, they treat their horses very, very well because that's their primary mode of transportation. But we were just talking about that squirrel festival in Arkansas. People in Arkansas do weird stuff. Eating squirrels,
Like
having
have competitions for
Yeah.
cooking
Yes.
squirrel.
If
I
your
find that
cousin's
weird.
name is Odd Stuff, yep, they're doing odd stuff. Thank you.
What is something that people do in other states that you find peculiar, Danny?
Oh God, I don't trust Los Angeles at all. But I remember, I bet this happened to you the same time it happened to me. Driving to New Jersey, they don't let you pump your own gas or bag your own groceries.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. So that's a weird thing that they do
That
in the
is
state of
weird.
New Jersey. They will not, and they're kind of grumpy about it, pump your own gas.
It was like that in Oregon too, up until just recently. They wouldn't let you pump your own gas.
So
Super
bizarre.
weird.
Well, you guys listening, is there something people do in other states that you find peculiar? Let us know by calling 800-252-1025 or text your answer in to 90627.
All righty, it is 8:10 in the morning. We've got a lot of show coming up.
Well, we were just talking about police in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, home of the Amish,
Yeah.
where the driver of a horse and buggy is being sought for hit and run. That seems unusual, but seeing a horse and buggy, not unusual in Pennsylvania.
Hey, I got a question for you. Why did they kick Sally out of the Amish?
I don't know why.
She was doing 2 Mennonites. Thank you. I'll be here all week. Back to you. That's why I couldn't remember where we were. I'm my brain to come up with an Amish joke.
We are asking you the question at 800-252-1025. Is there something people do in other states that you find peculiar? I mean, Amish, it is just a little peculiar.
It is peculiar. It's just because it's their religion and it's their right and they're nice and they're good and they work hard doesn't make it not weird to everybody else that isn't in a horse and buggy wearing a wide brimmed hat and a full beard.
Yeah.
Even the chicks.
When we lived in Pennsylvania, like if you saw them, you'd stare. You just couldn't help it.
Right.
It's
And they're
just-
used to that. They're a tourist attraction. My mother-in-law was up there and we were asking directions or whatever, and she's looking around, seeing all the Amish. And I said, hey, do you know, to some tour guide or something, I said, is there anywhere around here to go to lunch? And my mother-in-law said, yeah, somewhere hilarious.
Oh.
And the guy gave her directions, and when we got to the restaurant, I said, that's probably not cool. And she cried because she didn't realize that she had done it. I said, well, they're kind of hilarious, but keep it to yourself.
Farmer Ted in Seattle, is there something people do in other states that you find peculiar?
Good morning. How you guys doing today?
Very well, thank you for asking. What do you got for us?
Down in New Orleans, man, they'll let you drink anywhere.
It's so true.
Oh, just drink it on the street. Yeah.
So true, but
Yeah, as long as
surprise.
it's not a glass bottle.
Is that the rules? Because there you'd be surprised how many states you can drink walking down the street. I realize it's a city. Vegas,
Yeah.
they have bars on the sidewalks, like
Right.
pop-up bars, and chicks with no shirts on serve you drinks.
Vegas, it doesn't seem surprising, though. There's something about being in New Orleans and walking around with an open container. You feel like you're breaking the rules.
Yeah.
And they encourage it. Like, oh, you want that to go? Yo, do you need a straw for that? Here, let me put that glass into a plastic cup for you.
Would you like a roofie in that? They say that a lot.
How about something they do weird in Montana? Drive-through liquor stores.
Super weird.
That's super weird.
That's not just Montana, though, is it?
I thought it was just Montana. Well, I don't know if it's elsewhere, but I know it's in Montana.
I think there's one right by the Snoqualmie Casino as you pull in on their property.
A drive-through liquor store?
I've never seen them.
I don't swear to it, but I believe so. But I'm
Only
positive.
seen them in Montana. All right, so how about in Detroit? Bulletproof glass in every convenience store. You walk in and you ask for something, and you put the money just like that.
Like a bank teller?
Yes, and you put it like underneath a little.
Where is
sweet-
this?
In parts of Detroit.
Well, parts of Camden, New Jersey, then too.
Lots of
parts of Koreatown, I think, in LA. I've seen it. Yeah, that's a thing. But just because we're getting regional, it's still weird and off-putting to go into a store and see the bulletproof glass.
Yo, in Olympia.
Hey, yo.
Hey, good morning, you people.
What do you mean, you people?
I really missed you people.
It's good to hear from
We're
you.
back.
Yo.
What's up?
Well, I find it very odd that people in Georgia take peanuts, boil them, and put them in a can.
It is very strange, and you'll see boiled peanuts everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere. I don't know that I've ever tasted them.
The texture is different. They're almost a little mushy because the other peanuts have like a crisp bite to them. Like if we go down to Safeco and at the ball game and get a bag of peanuts, taste totally different than boiled peanuts.
Yeah, I've tried some weird peanut concoctions, but I don't know that I've ever had them boiled. Thanks, yo.
How about Rob in Louisville? What's something people do in other states that you find peculiar?
Oh, did you crawl out of your pool long enough to call us again?
Well, here in Louisville, every Saturday night, everybody meets up down at the creek to take their weekly bath.
Didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell
exactly
you?
right.
I just won $3. Thank you, Rob. I appreciate that. Thank God you're a good sport, buddy.
Yeah.
Dave from Indiana texted in the southern states, noodling catfish.
Oh,
What
that
about
is
it?
I
very
don't know what
weird.
it is. What is noodling
It's
catfish?
you get into the creek with Rob.
Yeah?
It's weird. And you put your whole arm in the water where you think the catfish is going to be. I guess it's outside a little cave or tunnel that they carve. And you wiggle your fingers like come here, except, oh, no, like you're tickling somebody's chin. You do that motion with all your
Okay.
fingers. And a giant catfish will swallow your arm up to the elbow. And you pull it out like
Oh, that's
that.
how you catch them. It's
Yeah.
not just
Yeah.
like for fun.
No, that's how you catch them. You
Oh.
noodle them.
Super weird.
I've never
is
done
weird.
it. It seems scary, and some of these guys on TV are bleeding.
Yeah.
You know, they're not big wounds or anything, but they're sufficient scrapes.
So Paul said drive-through liquor stores, and turns out there are a handful of other states that have drive-through liquor stores.
Don't you guys ever listen to me?
Washington is not one of them.
It's not one of them.
It is not.
Does that count if it's on a reservation? Because I'm pretty sure there's one at Snoqualmie, but not positive on that one. So
They just opened a drive-through pot shop at the Muckleshoot Casino,
Yeah,
too.
that's wild.
really,
Yeah.
Well, the rules are iffy on reservations, as I understand it.
The rules are just different when it comes to reservations, for sure.
Speaking of weed, which we were, several people texting in saying it's super weird that weed is not legalized in a lot of other states.
On the flip
Sure.
side of that, because I think that person's right, but just for fun, I kind of think it's weird that pot's legal.
That
I can
it's
go
legal
into a
here?
store and I talked to the one I go to is a really pretty young lady there. She asks me questions about being an actress, and I think in my head, honey, if I were good at it, I'd do it. But I don't. I say, oh, here's what you got to do. Take goes, that's what I say. Now can I have some of that bud? But I still find it weird when you go into a pot shop.
It is a little strange, and they're everywhere now.
You know what's real? Also real, and you don't think about it. You think about, well, they do that in the movies. Cattle drives.
Yeah.
And not for fun and tourists, to get cows from one place to
Right.
another. A bunch
Go
of
to
cowboys.
Montana, Wyoming.
And they go, woo, doggy, or something like that.
Our friend Joe from Joe in Chicago, he texted in. He says, it's weird that you people in Washington don't shoot each other more often.
What do you mean, you people? And it's because we're not gun-carrying maniacs?
Because he's in Chicago.
Yeah. And they shoot each other.
And he actually texted the T in often. He put it in capital.
All right, I'm going to have to go to Chicago and just punch him in the face.
Sam in Everett, what is something people do in other states you find peculiar?
In Indiana, for you to get a liquor license, you have to get it approved through the county surveyor.
I don't understand.
I don't either.
I first of all, I don't know why that's weird, but only because I don't know what it means. Because I think surveyor, and I think a guy in an orange vest outside with a weird contraption
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
looks like a sextant. So what do you mean?
So they have a county surveyor, and if you're going to apply for a liquor license, they have to look and make sure that they're going to put it in a good area, not by a school, not by a church, that sort of thing.
Oh, so it is exactly what you're thinking. That
Yeah.
guy's going to get that weird little contraption up on the tripod and look around for schools.
And measure how far it is
Yep.
from a school.
Cool. You know, it's those guys right there that bring you the expression, are you on the level?
Oh, really?
Yep.
Paul, what is something people do in other states you find peculiar?
This is in Nebraska, and I learned this from our boss, from the captain, because he's from Nebraska, and people are weird in Nebraska.
Yeah.
But the state of Nebraska has its own navy, which
What?
I did not know until the
I
captain
don't know.
told
Isn't
me
it
about
landlocked?
It is landlocked, and there are no ships in the Navy, but there is an admiral of the Navy. It's the highest honor that you can have in the state of Nebraska is to be the admiral of the Nebraska Navy. Every year, people can nominate new people, and then the governor bestows it upon somebody. So, like David Letterman's been the admiral of the Nebraska Navy. The Queen of England, Bill Murray,
Okay, that's
famous
super weird.
people. But
The
it's
Queen
also
of England is not Bill Murray.
no.
Where do you even get your information?
No, but they've both been the admiral of the Nebraska Navy.
That's
And
super weird.
sometimes it's a lesser known person who just did good in Nebraska.
We
but-
got to get that for Danny.
Yeah, Nebraska has a Navy. We got to get you the admiral.
I feel that we should concentrate on the star before I break my heart, but whatever you guys want to do.
Well, maybe if we aim a little lower, we'll have a little better
A lot
success.
of people would think Admiral's not lower, but I'd be with you. And Nebraska, it's landlocked, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
It's surrounded by sucked and worse, I believe, is what it's inhabiting
exactly.
Nebraska.
Tori, what is something people do in other states you find peculiar?
They eat scrapple in Pennsylvania.
Okay, one of the world's great things, you maniac.
Are you serious?
Oh my
Ew.
God, it's so good. And you're well aware that it's snot and nose and eyes. It's the grossest thing ever, but it is delicious.
It's gray.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
for
it's
your
gray.
information.
A lot of things start gray and then you cook them and they get better. Not scrapple.
It
It gets a
makes-
little grayer.
It makes hot dogs look like filet mignon.
You know, if you try it with, first of all, she's a new meat eater.
Yes.
So advanced.
She's very
Scrapple.
good at it.
Scrapple is advanced meat eating.
Gosh, you people.
What do you mean,
She mean you people.
And Derek, what is something people do in other states you find peculiar?
In Arizona, there's a couple towns that are so remote that the United States Postal Service delivers mail on the back of mules.
That's true.
Is that true?
Yeah,
Real
right.
mail.
Wow,
near the-
that's neat.
Near the Grand Canyon, yeah, they just can't get to those towns.
That's
Do
crazy.
people live in the Grand Canyon in it?
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
And then guess how they get their mail?
By
By a
donkey.
mule,
A
yeah.
mule.
Yeah. A mule's and donkey's the same thing.
Yeah, kind of. They're related.
We'll discuss that momentarily. We're going to take a very short break and be right back with the news. News is brought to you by Les Schwab. Several fire crews battled a 2-alarm commercial fire at a strip mall in Kirkland this morning. Firefighters say that it appears to have started in a pawn shop and a dry cleaner. Those two businesses appear to be pretty destroyed. They were able to save other businesses, but they've all been affected by this fire.
You know, because we are disc jockeys, I never have use for a dry cleaner, but a pawn shop? Pawn shops are bitching.
They're fun.
Do you go into pawn shops whether you need something or not? If
Oh,
you're-
yeah, just look around,
They're
yeah.
they have something for everybody all the time.
The parents of the Washington State man convicted of killing his former neighbors have been sentenced to 10 days in jail for helping their son flee the country. You remember the story out of Oso? There was a land dispute, and the man, John Reed, killed the neighbors. His parents, 83-year-old Clyde Reed, 79-year-old Faye Reed, helped him, gave him a car, gave him cash. He fled, where he was then found and brought back here to Washington. They have received 10 days in jail.
Well, you know what? I feel like that it's either way not enough, they assisted in a double murder, or it's too much. They're old people. You didn't convict them of anything when you really had them. This, 3 years old, this case?
Yeah.
2 years? Yeah.
2 years.
You know, the judge didn't find a preponderance of evidence to jail them then.
Yeah.
So I can't decide if it's enough or too much or what it is.
And you go to your parents and you say, "Hey, look, I didn't do this, but I'm in trouble. You got to help me." They're going to help you. It's your
Right,
parents,
they're going to help you, and they're going to say we didn't know. If I went to my mom, that's probably bad to say, but if I went to my mom and saying, "Listen, I accidentally killed this guy, and I got to run. Give me some money," she'd go, "Okay, keep your head down, dye your hair."
Yeah.
She would just give me help no matter what.
They were initially charged with felony rendering criminal assistance. They pled guilty instead to misdemeanor charges of obstructing law enforcement. So it could have been worse.
Nobody goes to jail for misdemeanors, I thought, but okay.
An Australian newspaper was reporting that hunters shot at 2 firefighters while they were battling the Miriam fire near White Pass. So these 2 firefighters were Australian, here to help battle the fires. And this story was all over Australia saying, "Oh my gosh, we sent these firefighters to help,
The Americans are shooting at us.
and 2 hunters shot at us."
I heard about that even here.
Mm-hmm.
That the hunters had shot at him.
Well,
And the first time I was in Australia, the guy I was doing some business with said, "Listen, I'm going to Los Angeles. What do I do to not get shot? Should I wear, if I hear shots?" And this was 25 years ago or whatever. I had no idea what he's talking about. You've been watching way too many movies, so now they think we're shooting at the firemen.
well, it turns out none of it is true.
Shenanigans?
Total shenanigans.
Shenanigans or accidental mistake?
According to the Yakima County Sheriff's Office, none of it is true. The Foreign Affairs Department, the FBI were all notified, the Australian Foreign Affairs, and they said not true.
Who reported it?
The Sydney Morning Herald.
No. I mean, who said, "Hey, they're shooting at us"?
I haven't figured out where the story originated from.
Got to come from the firefighters.
I don't know. Comes from some guy that just wanted to make some news. People do this stuff. That's why I call shenanigans so often.
You would think coming here and fighting a forest fire would be exciting enough. You wouldn't have to make up. I also got shot at.
That's why I'm asking who it is, because it doesn't sound right. Plus, you got to get two people to collude in doing that. Something's weird about it.
Oh, you know who it sounds like?
Who?
Brian Williams.
Yeah,
Brian
totally.
Williams. That story's not good enough. I got to make it better.
They'll be on CSNBC tomorrow.
The discovery of a black lab named Lucy has led to the unraveling of a criminal case this week against an Oregon man who had just begun serving a 50-year prison sentence. Joshua Horner is a plumber from the central Oregon town of Redmond. He was convicted of sexually abusing a minor. During the trial, the complainant testified that this man threatened to shoot her animals if she went to police about the alleged assault. She told authorities, "I saw him shoot my dog, beautiful black lab, and it killed her. The gunshot killed the dog, and it was to make his point." Well, they convicted him. The verdict was not unanimous. He asked the Oregon Innocence Project for help.
Wait, first of all, you don't need a unanimous decision to send a guy to jail for 50 years?
Apparently not in Oregon.
Super weird.
Yep.
Yeah.
He says he did not shoot the dog, and the Innocence Project were able to track down the dog, still alive, and they said no charges. He is not facing any charges now. And
For shooting the dog, or
No,
it's
it
not?
can't be.
or
50 years for shooting a dog?
Or did they take away the original charges of the sexual assault?
Because you can't believe anything she said. They're going to subpoena her now.
Exactly. This was dismissed. He walked out
Wow.
of prison. So they found the dog and saying that is exactly what you just said, Danny, like discrediting her. That
Right.
story's made up.
Now, she's an eyewitness to the murder of this dog that didn't happen.
Right.
Motive?
Don't know. Not a clue.
But it was a minor. So,
The individual was a minor.
Yeah.
Yeah. In Ethiopia, they have an outbreak of cholera. Sounds like something from the oldie-timey days, but no, in Ethiopia, they have found an outbreak of cholera, which is being blamed on holy water.
Really?
1,200 people have contracted cholera. And
Was it tainted holy water?
Yep.
Because I hear that's what those guys are up to these days, tainting holy water. Tain't my problem, Bishop.
The World Health Organization is trying to get it under control, but
Yeah, it's a weird thing. They should get that under control.
there are 1 to 4 million cases of cholera each year, and it's just bad water.
I went to an Ethiopian restaurant on 99 somewhere with Amy, and they serve you both your entrees and side dishes and chickpeas and mashed whatever on the same giant tray. And you just take the fingers of your right hand and scoop. I gotta say, I love my wife more than anything. In a pinch, I'll use her toothbrush, whatever. I didn't say this, but it seemed totally gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't touch my side of the plate, young lady. Your fingers you don't know where your fingers have been. Or worse yet, I do know where your fingers have been.
Being significantly overweight comes with plenty of well-documented health problems already due to you can have diabetes, you can have stressed joints. They said obesity is very dangerous. Now it turns out it's not just your body, it's your mind.
Oh, I have a fat mind for sure.
A research paper has been published in the Journal of Neuroscience showing that your memory goes and you are not capable of processing information as well if you are overweight.
Wow, I had no idea.
So that even more motivation for people to get fit is your brain works better.
But they're not processing this information that you're giving them right now. So how's that going to work
Somebody's
out?
going to tell them.
It's a vicious cycle.
A lot of us use Yelp, taking a look at restaurant reviews. A lot of people use TripAdvisor, same thing. Google, you're using those for restaurant reviews, hotel reviews. Well, in Florida, one man was so angry that a woman gave his restaurant a bad review, he shot at her home.
Wow, that seems excessive. Did he miss? Because I'm going to give him a bad Yelp review if he can't shoot.
Who puts their home address in their Yelp review? hey, I didn't like your tacos. Here's where I live.
And there's if you can prove that it was unreasonable what they trashed your business, you can sue them now.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Well, she posted a review saying that she had been kicked out of a restaurant because of her disabled mother. They said, we can't accommodate your mom in a wheelchair. You need to leave. And so she wrote about her experience on a review site. He was so angry. He knew who she was because she had eaten there several times in the past, showed up.
And she's the lady that has the mom in a wheelchair.
Yep. He has been arrested and charged with shooting into a dwelling and abuse of a disabled adult.
Well, that's a drag.
Yeah. Oh, Florida.
Oh, Florida.
A pair of thieves stole something from a California woman's home, and while it was all caught on security camera, she's still pretty upset about it. This woman named Madonna, no relation, different Madonna.
To which one?
Madonna Haynes. She said she had gotten brand new turf put in.
Oh, I love this. By the way, I wear her underwear. Because everybody cares it all. She's quite the inventor, Mrs. Haynes.
A big spool of grass. And
that stuff's expensive.
Yep.
Is it grass? Is it turf like we use at Safeco? Or not Safeco, CenturyLink?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the turf that they use is a combination of synthetic and real. It's got dirt, and it's something you can buy that looks very grass-like but isn't just all grass. It's not the stuff that...
it's not AstroTurf.
Right.
No, but that's 1,000 years old technology.
Yeah.
The new turf is pretty amazing.
Right.
Well, it's so amazing that a car pulled up and said, whoa, look at that brand new turf, rolled it up, put it in the back of their truck, and drove away.
Well, that's super bad. You can't steal somebody's turf.
That's me.
You can't
right?
even get on my turf. That's how gang wars start.
Usually people run from accidents. Some people ran towards this
I thought
one.
you're supposed to stay at the scene.
Yeah,
Right?
pull
You're
over.
not supposed to run.
Well, if there's a two-vehicle collision with a semi, if you're not part of it, you might flee because it's dangerous. Not in this case. The semi spilled kegs of beer all over the roadway.
Wow.
Pretty hard to resist for some people.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I got in a crash with a semi once, but then it went away immediately.
Did you?
I'm telling you, that's a quality joke, man.
Oh,
I got Sarah. Sarah's in.
I'm laughing at Paul's response.
I'll have you explain that one to me
Did
later.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Where
There
are
was no
we?
goodness involved in that. All right, I'll try it again. Hey, Paul.
Yeah.
I one time got in a wreck with a semi.
Yeah,
But
not the
that
whole
killed
thing.
it.
But I just don't get it. I'm sorry.
Do you get it?
No.
No, really? Derek, do you get it?
Yeah, I just don't want to talk about it.
Right, okay. That's the kind of, yes, that's what kind of joke it is. Turns out Derek's the bright one. I always knew it.
You're right about that.
Well, Danny is making Who's It's jokes. There is a story.
You do get it.
That's what it was?
Liar, liar, dress on
wreck?
fire.
A racket.
I had a semi, but when I got in an accident, it went away.
That's very funny.
Oh, let's repeat that.
I will. That's
Still not
very
funny.
funny.
It's a good one, I'm telling you.
A man was
I didn't mean to stiff you, man.
Again, no, I wasn't sure you were being funny or not, because that's the subtle kind of comedy I expect from you.
Is that your version of a sophisticated toot joke?
Yeah.
Sure.
A man has a horn growing out of his Who's It's.
Did you? Did you, Sarah? Did
Turn
you?
it around.
Horn growing out of his Who's It's.
Yeah.
He had an operation down there to repair his urethra. Urethra.
I heard she passed away.
Urethra is the tube that you use to expel waste from your Who's-Its. And he had surgery. And then they found a cutaneous horn was growing out of his Who's-Its, a side effect of his surgery.
So when he gets a Mr. Happy, he's technically really horny.
They said it's keratin. It's almost like the rhinoceros horn
Yeah.
on his Who's-Its.
A whole rhinoceros horn on your that'd have to hurt somebody.
Now, I know a lot of people say, oh, if I could just have 1 more inch. He had 1 more inch of cutaneous horn.
Yeah, that's not good.
Ew. And it's all been chronicled in the British Medical Journal. with pictures I did not need to see.
Wow.
I can't unsee.
You can't unsee that kind of stuff.
Especially after you look at them 4 or 5 times, which doesn't make any sense.
The Harris poll is a nationwide.
All this stuff,
See?
man.
It's not just me, Paul.
Is she doing this on
I
purpose?
think she is.
The Harris poll has done a nationwide customer survey asking people about their favorite brands, and they have released the study results for 2018. Some of it is just sort of fun stuff like best Mexican restaurant. Asking the American public, what do you feel is the best American Mexican restaurant?
Taco Bell.
Ding, ding, ding.
I was being facetious, really.
Yep.
Well, I guess in a way that it is technically Mexican food.
Yep.
And more
Yeah.
people go to it than they go to the place down the street from me. So,
Right, it's certainly the most popular. It's
Yeah.
got the most locations.
The company has 7,000 locations,
Wow.
does nearly $2 billion in revenue, and a lot of that comes from Derek.
Yeah, I bet.
Best burger restaurant, Five Guys.
Yeah, I see that. President Obama put that place on the map. I'd never heard of it.
Yeah.
It's been around since 1986. They have 1,500 locations in 13 countries.
Wow.
Best coffee shop
Super-duper.
makes no sense. Krispy Kreme,
Really?
because people go there.
I don't even think they're the best donut.
No, I'm with you on that.
Top Pot.
Yeah, but I think it's also got to be a big national chain because yeah, Top Pot's the best, but somebody in Idaho doesn't know that. Somebody in Kansas doesn't know that.
So what's the best national donut shop?
Dunkin' Donuts, right?
I'll go with Winchell's.
Oh, Winchell's. Yeah, no, you're right.
I didn't know
I've
you'd ever
never-
even heard of
I've
Winchell's.
never heard
Oh,
of
yeah,
Winchell's.
they're great.
The girl that shot me, she
Yeah.
worked at Winchell's Donuts on
Winchell's is great.
Ventura Boulevard.
But is that national? I've never even heard of it.
That's certainly
Yeah.
West Coast.
Right.
No, I think it's
but we don't have
national.
any- yeah.
And
It's just
Dunkin',
not big.
Dunkin' Donuts isn't on the West Coast, and their donuts are just mediocre.
Is that true? I didn't know. And I thought they were everywhere because I see their TV.
They're trying Chick-fil-A.
I was going with these L's.
But national.
I don't have to go national. I can just say his L so I look like I get out.
Yeah.
In China, pictures and video of a small town have gone viral for all the wrong reasons. A person put plastic bottles into the drain with too much soap, and soap bubbled up when the rain fell into the drainage area, and bubbles went everywhere, the entire town covered in a giant mass of soap suds.
From a guy with bottles in the sink?
Cleaning plastic bottles let too much soap go down the drain. Just
Okay.
like the episode of the Brady Bunch where Bobby doesn't know how to do laundry.
Right, but it doesn't go all over a town.
If Bobby Brady had been in China, it would have looked exactly the same.
I'm just going to let you sit in it. You did it to me.
At least I'm laughing at my own stupidity.
You're the one.
You just said it 3 or 4 times, hoping it would become funny.
Yes, and that did not work. I'm going to model my comedy on this.
Police say a man was injured after his gun went off while fleeing from police. Cops pulled
Wow, it
over.
went off a bunch of times.
Jeez.
That doesn't sound accidental.
He's mad.
Cops pulled over a white Lincoln sedan for expired inspection stickers. They smelled marijuana and said, "Get out of the vehicle, sir." And that's when he ran, and cops were in pursuit. He pulled a gun from his waistband and then accidentally shot himself. Sorry, I'm laughing.
In the who's it's?
Not in the who's it's. No, he pulled it out of his waistband and was going to maybe try to point it at somebody else. Hit him in his lower body. They did not say exactly where.
Sounds like
The
the
Who's
Who's
It's.
Yeah, it sounds like the Who's It's for
Yeah.
sure.
All right, let me retell the story. Then he goes to pull the gun out of his waistband. It gets jammed in his belt. The gun goes off, shooting him in the who's it's. Is that better?
Yeah,
Okay.
perfect.
It's a lot of times to shoot yourself with the Who's It's.
We've talked for some reason about the procedure for cryogenics. I think we were talking about it because the rumor was Walt Disney was cryogenically
Yeah.
frozen.
Or just his head.
Right. That was
And
the rumor.
who was the baseball player?
Ted
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 Williams.
Williams.
Ted
Yeah.
Williams.
Now, Ted Williams did get cryogenically frozen.
Great. We should bring him back.
And I'm pretty sure.
We're 8.5 games out of first place.
Right,
We need
we-
Ted
we
Williams.
need Ted
Thaw
Williams.
out Ted Williams.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that Disney, we found out, was an urban legend.
Right.
Yeah.
That he was not cryogenically frozen. Turns out when you are cryogenically frozen, it's not just your head, it's supposed to be your entire body, unless you are Lawrence Pilgrim, who was told, here are your dad's ashes. We have his head. He is now suing them because, according to the contract, it was whole body preservation. Cryogenics freeze the whole body, so when the technology's here, you'll wake him up. Well, they cut off his head, kept the head, burned the body, shipped it back to him, and he is now suing, saying wasn't supposed to be just the head.
Yeah. Is any of this going to work out for anybody?
I suppose
Not the guy who's dead.
That's what the question is. That's who gets cryogenically frozen is dead people.
Right.
And so you think someday we'll have the technology to bring them back.
Yeah.
Even if that is true, what we don't have currently is the technology to cut their heads off and store it till we invent the next technology. I don't see how it can work.
I don't either. But, I mean, he is suing. He could successfully get the money back if it was a contract violation, but I don't know how that cryogenics in anybody's mind works. If anything, you're going to be transporting consciousness into another body anyway.
Right. So why save the head? So it looks like your dad.
Just save your brain.
Right. But that's a given that you need to save the brain for the thoughts and things like that. But you want the thing that happens next to look just like your daddy. So that's why they save the head.
Do you go visit him at the cryogenic store?
Do you visit graveyards and put flowers for your mom or dad or whoever
right,
it is?
But I'm saying go visit them and look at that.
I don't know if you look at it, but I think, you probably go visit it.
That's the news.
Wow.
It was brought to you by Les Schwab. And there is more. Entertainment, music, news, and sports are ahead. David Bowie's first known studio recording has sold at auction for just a wee bit more than they thought it was going to go for. They estimated it would go for $13,000. It sold for $52,000.
Wow, that's big.
1963 demo. It had been rejected by the bosses at a record company. The record company at the time was called Decca.
No, I know Decca. He didn't have a deal then? It was that long ago?
16 years old.
Wow. Look at him go.
16-year-old David Jones singing I Never Dreamed with his band, The Conrads. When he first started, he didn't really want to be a singer. He wanted to play, I think it was keyboards or the bugle or something really weird.
He wanted to play the bugle? That is a little bit weird. It's a weird snack, and it's a weirder instrument.
I'm pretty sure it was keyboards.
See, I think the only instrument I ever saw the guy play would be guitar.
It definitely wasn't guitar. And I got to try to look it up.
I got to get a computer. Everybody else has computers. Even Derek has a computer.
Does he?
He does. You think Derek actually knows all the stuff it appears that Derek knows?
He doesn't?
No, I don't think that.
I think there's a little person under his desk, and I think he also looks stuff up.
Derek does not use Google. This is all in his computer, which is his brain.
Then
Didn't he want to be
answers.
Didn't David Bowie want to be a mime first before he got into the music business?
Aha! Saxophonist.
Saxophone, same
was
thing.
Close with the bugle.
That's what's wrong with music today. Too much sax and violins. I love that joke. I heard it when I was 8.
When you eat bugles, do you try to play them first?
Yeah, I guess. The only bugles I like, I just got turned on to. I never ate them. And then Amy goes, I got some bugles for somewhere having snacks. And I said, I don't like bugles. You try these. And they were the caramel ones. Oh my God, they're yummy.
Are they good? I've seen them. I haven't tried them.
They're so good. But Jelly Bean would like them more likely than Holiday.
Yeah.
Jimmy Buffett's Coral Reefer brand is branching out to marijuana.
Yeah, not a surprise there.
How
the
he
only
has
surprise
not
is,
done that yet.
yeah, that's the surprise. How did he
Right.
take so long?
A Georgia-based medical cannabis company yesterday announced a licensing deal to create a new medical marijuana brand, Coral Reefer, named after his namesake band. So these two will partner for this medical marijuana. Now, we had talked not that long ago about the guy whose family started Wrigley.
Yeah.
Bo Wrigley, who is a bazillionaire. He too is involved with this. He wants to be involved with medical marijuana. And so this company...
Is that people like hedging their bets against backlash of getting in the marijuana business? I want to be in the medical marijuana business. Well, really, I think they just want to be in the marijuana business.
Well, in so many states it's not legal,
Right.
so that's their only option, unless they wanted to try to go to another market where it's legal, and that market's usually pretty saturated. So think about it this way. If this dude Wrigley and Jimmy Buffett and this other brand... if they start making medical marijuana, it'll probably be a lot easier to make the shift to non-medical once it's legalized.
Yeah, that guy's. I read his book, A Pirate Looks at 50, and he's got to be over 60 now, so it was a long time ago. And a lot of the book was, hey, I'm awfully rich. But either way, it's been a pretty great life for Mr.
Yeah.
Buffett.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, is it true that he take his seaplane and he and Bono got shot out of the sky by the Jamaican Air Force?
Derek,
Can that be true?
Fact check. I've heard it so many times, but it's always from your mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only place I've heard
I'm the
it.
guy saying it. That I don't know about shot out of the sky, but I heard that they were fired upon from ground to air by the Jamaicans, by Jamaican whatever,
With
Army,
bad
Navy, Air Force,
aim?
Marine. I don't know, man. That's why I'm asking to see if the story's even true. But Jamaicans too high to shoot down a plane? Possible.
According to BuffettWorld.com, it is true.
Wow. There you go.
There you go.
There you go. Now you've
Any
heard
other
it's from me
details?
and Derek.
Just that the Jamaicans had mistaken his plane for a drug runner's plane, but Jimmy had only come for the chicken.
Yeah. And you know what's interesting about that? Although he should have known, he had just had a semi-hit song with I'm a Drug Smuggler. That was the name of his song. It was playing on the radio. Go flying over Jamaica with an Irish rock star while playing I'm a Drug Smuggler on your radio?
I remember the most shocking part of the story when you first told me was that Jamaica had an Air Force.
Yeah. Well,
I
did you know
don't expect
Nebraska has a Navy?
I've heard that, yeah.
And you could be the admiral.
I could. I am.
Also, I hear somebody nominated you for admiral of the Greek Navy.
I did hear
So
that.
Good for
yeah.
you.
It was nice of one of
It
those.
was nice of them.
One of
Sent
them.
that in on the text line, 90627.
Mac
it.
Wahlberg.
Yeah.
He took to Instagram yesterday to do a little Q&A with fans. Now, this is nothing new. Celebrities have often had these sort of open forums, but this one was on Instagram, and a lot of people asked him about his fitness routine. He has an 8-pack right now.
Yeah.
And most of the time he is ridiculously fit. And somebody asked him during this Q&A, what is your day-to-day? Like, you are so fit. How do you do it? You've got a huge family. You've got movies, et cetera, et cetera. He said his day starts at 2:30 a.m. He wakes up. He has a prayer session. He then works out for 2 hours. Then he does all the dad stuff, takes his kids to school, helps get them ready and all that stuff. Then he has a cryotherapy session, a round of golf. Then he goes and gets the kids from school, does dad stuff, or goes to make a movie. 2:30 in the morning to work out.
I don't think I completely believe it.
You
Yeah,
think
it doesn't
it's-
sound possible.
It can't
It
just
doesn't
be
sound
that he's
why.
taking steroids.
It doesn't. How about, I don't know, sleep 4 hours later, take the kids to school, drop them off, go to the gym.
But then
don't
when's
get
he
up
gonna
at 2.
play golf and do cryo.
It's a long hour a day. I don't completely believe it, but I get up at 3:30 in the morning every day. This is new. It used to be 4, but now it's 3:30 to get on the treadmill a half an hour early. So I can't call him a big liar face, but that's all I do. Then I come here and I tell bad jokes about a semi, and then I go home. It's not that much heavy lifting to do this.
He says it's such a hectic day. His days are so busy. He usually goes to bed at 7:30. But
Wow.
he has to play a round of golf and go to do cryo.
I'm going to change my mind and say I totally believe it. Ask me why.
Why?
I'll tell you. Thank you for asking. That's about what time I go to bed, and I think, am I wasting my life? Why am I in bed at 7:30? Why am I sound asleep? What am I missing? If Wahlberg can get up at 2 in the morning and go to bed by 7:30, it's fine. I'm going to bed by 7:30 and thinking nice thoughts about Mr.
All
Wahlberg.
right. Former Cosby Show actor Jeffrey Owens back in the news again.
Again. Where's he working now?
NCIS New Orleans.
Yeah, of course he is.
Now
You know
this-
what he's going to get next, don't you?
What?
Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, you almost had it.
Then a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Yeah.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
So this is the guy who was on the Cosby Show. He played Elvin, who was Sandra Huxtable's husband. He was spotted working at a Trader Joe's. He had only appeared in the TV show Lucifer in 2017. Like, he really hasn't done much television. He said he needed to get a job. He needed a job with benefits because the Cosby Show reruns weren't on anymore. And he was working at Trader Joe's for 15 months. He got a recurring role on Tyler Perry's own series called The Haves and Have-Nots.
That's as a result of working at Trader Joe's.
Yep.
He didn't go audition and get it on his own merit.
Handed to him.
Yep.
And now, guest role on CBS's NCIS New Orleans.
Wow, has-beens from TV shows doing CSI. You have no shame?
I wonder if he's thankful that he was shamed by the woman who took the picture and put it up on the internet. Yeah, he's got to be thinking, this worked out pretty well for me.
CSI has a top dollar,
NCIS.
I think, NCIS. The network shows usually have a top dollar. It's been a long time, $7,500 or
for
so
him.
for the week. Good for him. And he's got 10 weeks on Tyler Perry. Deep cable on that one, the O network. So that'll pay a lot less, but it'll pay his rent for a couple of years.
Playboy announced they will become a quarterly magazine next
geez.
year. Currently, 6 issues a year, down from 12.
And they put the naked ladies back in, right?
Yep, naked ladies are back. In addition to making this announcement, they also said they're opening a new Playboy club in New York. This is bringing them back to brick and mortar clubs. And this
Will
is
they wear the cottontails on ears?
They haven't really given a whole lot of information.
Because I was there when Dave Madden, a friend of mine, even when I was a little kid, this was the 70s, I was allowed to go there for some reason. And I don't know that I thought of it odd, except neat, that the waitress is wearing like these skin-tight corsets, big giant rabbit ears, and a fluffy white tail on their butts.
Yeah.
And then I heard there was some revolution. Everybody got mad about that, so I don't know if they're bringing it back or not. I liked it.
I would not be surprised if they were wearing something much more risque, but similar, like bunny ears and stuff, but they're probably going to be wearing a lot less than
Even
the
less
women did.
clothes.
Yeah. Let's take a look at sports. Sports brought to you by Bradley Johnson Attorneys. If you're facing a DUI, call 1-800-DUI-AWAY. The Storm could make history tonight by winning its 3rd WNBA championship, but they will need to win tonight, hoping for a 3-game sweep of the Washington Mystics. Now, if they don't win, the 4th game is set to be on Friday, also in D.C. The problem is...
Oh, the weather.
The weather.
Hurricane.
Yeah.
Hurricane Florence could wreak a little havoc, so a little added incentive for the Storm to win tonight.
Yeah, go
Aptly
Storm.
named.
Yeah.
Right.
On to the Seattle Mariners. Tough one for the Mariners last night. Edwin Diaz blew a save in the 9th inning, and the Padres had a 2-1 victory, dropping the Mariners to 8.5 games back for that second AL wild card. We are playing the Padres again today with a 3:40 start time on Root Sports. And Hisashi Iwakuma played for the Mariners for 7 years, announced he is heading back to his native Japan. As Danny says,
sayonara. And I say it in all good heart way because I like that guy a lot.
Last night, the Red Sox beat the Blue Jays and became the first team to make the postseason, 8 games up from the New York Yankees, who are in second place. The Seahawks, Monday Night Football. That is what is next for them. Monday Night Football against the Bears. Now, if you're planning a viewing party, maybe having a couple people over, you might want to keep an eye on the dip. According to a new study, 55% of people admit to double dipping.
The only reason I don't double dip is because I'd never heard of it before. I think you might have been there when this happened. Everybody flipped out that my boss double or even triple dipped.
You triple dipped?
I'd never even heard the expression before. I do it all the time. Did it all the time. And now I'd make sure you weren't looking before I did it the second time.
And 55% admit it,
Right.
but another 45% do it. Everyone does.
Everyone does it. Why would you waste a whole chip because you can't double dip?
Right.
You flip it over. Like you say, it's a carrot stick.
Right.
You dip it, and then you bite half, and then you use the other half. You flip it over and go.
No, that's worse.
I think that's double dipping.
Yeah, and the other side's been all in
I
your
get it.
sweaty
Hold
mitt.
it, you hold it in the middle.
It's a lot of work now, but
It is.
I think anything where the same piece of anything goes back into the same dip is double
Right,
dipping.
double dipping.
You can flip the carrot around like Mary Lou Retton, but it still won't make it not double dipping.
In some football news,
Yeah.
Carolina Panthers tight end Greg Olsen refractured his right foot in the first quarter of their season.
What a drag.
Such a drag, and he's a good dude. They said no plans for surgery. He broke his foot a year ago in week 2. This time he did it in week 1.
What's the name of the quarterback on that team again? I like him.
For the Carolina Panthers.
Big, giant,
Newton.
tall, black
Thank you,
dude. Cam
Cam
Newton.
Cam Newton.
He's like 6'4", 6'5", that guy. I like him, but he's turned into a bit of a baby.
Yeah.
Ever since he didn't win the Super Bowl, he turned into a big baby.
He's one of the most disliked, I would say, football players.
That's
right now.
I love it when we do lists. I'll bet that's a list. The top 10 least liked football players
Yeah.
Oh,
in the
yeah, for
NFL.
sure.
But that's interesting.
In some college football news, there is, just like with regular sports, not college level, Forbes, comes out with the list of the most valuable
See?
teams.
Told you lists are the thing, man.
They are.
I'd like to have the top 10 lists by tomorrow.
Top 10 lists of lists?
Yeah. First list is the first list.
The NCAA's most valuable teams in terms of revenue, Texas A&M, $148 million.
Wow.
The University of Texas, Michigan, Alabama, and Ohio State round out the top 5. They make a lot.
Not the Florida Gators?
Not the Florida Gators, but UW came in at number 19, $84 million
Wasn't
in revenue.
Tebow a Gator?
He was, yeah.
See, that's the important thing they're leaving out of this.
Look at you knowing sports.
Yeah.
Who are you?
I forgot Cam Newton's name, though.
That's all right. I did too.
Yeah, that's true.
And that is a look at your sports, which is brought to you by Bradley Johnson Attorneys. If you're facing a DUI, call 1-800-DUI-AWAY. Tomorrow on the show,
Yeah.
we'll have more Bugle talk.
Sure.
At 7:20, we'll
If
play.
you can blow into it, we'll talk about it. That's our slogan.
That is.
Can we put that on a t-shirt?
that on a t-shirt.
Yeah. Tomorrow Bugles. If you can blow on it, we'll talk about it.
Tomorrow at 7:20, we'll play another round of the C Word for you to win a pair of tickets and food vouchers for Crafts and Cars happening at the Evergreen Speedway on Saturday. At 7:50, a filthy forecast.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Did I mention we'll be talking about bugles?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That came up.
so to speak.
All right, so I got to tell you guys, you know how just every morning about this time I tell you something about my great love for Steve Slayton?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's verging on creepy, to be honest.
How
with you.
beautiful he
Not
is.
that I care. Handsome, suave, sophisticated,
Soft
great.
hands.
He's here this morning. He's out there in the hall somewhere. I wish he was in here. But for real, we were talking about how long we've been in radio and where you were and what you're doing. I think one of the Wilsons, I think it's Ann Wilson.
Yeah, he's going to talk to
Coming
Ann
up-
Wilson.
Yeah, well, coming up sometime in the very near future. But I was asking him about it, and he said, oh, yeah, I was talking to her years ago at my other radio station I was working at, and you should have seen her face when George Harrison called. And I went, you have been around,
Yeah,
dude. That's a
it's
nice
amazing.
little radio story. So look forward to that with everybody's radio idol, Steve Slayton. He'll be coming up in just a second, so we should get out of his way. Bye.